And the only man who took a knee right there, Dwayne Allen, the tight end of the Indianapolis Colts. Kickoff moments away. First things first, though, down to the field, and Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Al, when the Texans took Jadeveon Clowney with the #1 overall pick in 2014, they were hoping they had drafted the perfect bookend for J.J. Watt. But Clowney played just 4 games of his rookie year, which ended with microfracture surgery on his knee. Last season, which he told us still felt like a rookie year, he was slowed by foot and back injuries. Now in his 3rd year, Clowney is healthy and beginning to look like the guy who made that play in the 2013 Outback Bowl, which went viral and which he told us he's grown tired of hearing about. Last week at Minnesota, Clowney had 4 tackles for loss, including this one, taking down the guard and running back in one fell swoop. Well, Bill O'Brien told us the biggest difference for Clowney this year, he's been healthy enough to practice every day. And with J.J. Watt out for the season, Al, the Texans are relying on Clowney's versatility more than ever.
No question, Michelle, as is Bill O'Brien on the right, head coach of the Texans. Chuck Pagano, head coach at Indy. There are the standings. Houston comes in 3-2. Tennessee won today. They beat Cleveland, so they're at 500. Jacksonville beats Chicago. They're 2-3. And Indy comes in 2-3. Houston will get the ball. Indianapolis won the toss. Colts elect to defer. Tyler Ervin, a rookie from San Jose State, back to receive. And Pat McAfee. And you never know what he's liable to do before he sends the ball skyward. He might dance around. He might come in from different angles. Phenomenal punter. And of course, when you match him up with Adam Vinatieri, they've got 2 of the greatest kickers maybe of all time. Certainly in Vinatieri's case, that is true. And the kick is fielded at the 4. This is Braxton Miller, the one-time Ohio State quarterback, drafted as a wideout, who kicks the ball back to the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the Houston starters.
Brock Osweiler, Arizona State.
Lamar Miller, the U.
DeAndre Hopkins, Daniel High School.
Jalen Strong, Arizona State.
CJ Fedorowicz, University of Iowa.
Ryan Griffin, UConn.
Dwayne Brown, Virginia Tech.
Xavier Suafilo, UCLA.
Greg Manns, University of Toledo. Ode Ibushi, Wahoo.
Chris Clark, Southern Miss.
Chris Clark getting the start in place of Derek Newton on the right side. First play from scrimmage from the 21-yard line. They start on the ground with Lamar Miller, one of the big off-season pickups, and he starts with a 12-yard gain. Played at Miami with the Dolphins for a number of years. Comes over here, picks up a first down.
Get Xavier Suafilo coming around here, and just great patience on the part of Lamar Miller, allowing that block to get set up. Lamar Miller, definitely big play capable. His longest run so far this year, just 15 yards. That won't last much longer.
No, a guy who can average 5 yards per carry, but comes in averaging only 3.7 tonight. From the 33 now, Osweiler's first pass going deep down the right sideline and contested beautifully and batted away incomplete. DeAndre Hopkins, the intended receiver. It was Davis and Geathers both covering on the play. Let's take a look at Brock. 58% completion, 6 TDs and 7 picks, and the rating is very low. So an uneven start, as we say. Playing decently at home, but they've been blown out in their 2 road losses, one at New England and then last week at Minnesota. And you've got Clayton Geathers, who was covering on that last play along with Davis, second-year guy out of Central Florida. And if the name sounds familiar, there are 6 different Geathers relatives, including, we think about Jumpy, who have played in the National Football League.
A lot of gathers, and there was a gathering at this football here as well. Vontae Davis, who has requested, we'll see how far it goes, he has requested to cover DeAndre Hopkins tonight, so we'll see if that pairing holds true throughout the course of the night. But no question, Vontae Davis, the best cover guy, and DeAndre Hopkins, the go-to guy as far as the Houston Texans are concerned.
Yeah, they've made their acquaintance in the past. No strangers to each other. Got T.J. Green coming into the game right now for the moment as they work on Geathers. It's 2nd down and 10 now. Texans have the ball at their own 33-yard line. Play fake. Good protection that time, but the pass is too high. Intended for Hopkins. Again, it was Davis covering on the play. And let's take a look at that Indy defense.
Kendall Langford, Hampton.
David Perry, Stanford.
Arthur Jones, Syracuse.
Eric Walden, Middle Tennessee State.
DeQuell Jackson, Maryland.
Josh McNary, United States Military Academy.
Robert Mathis, Alabama A&M.
Rashawn Melvin, Northern Illinois.
Mike Adams, Delaware Blue Hens.
Clayton Geathers, University of Central Florida.
Vontae Davis, Illinois.
And Geathers does come back into the game after that one-play absence, 3rd and 10. Of course, the most fabled of those defenders would be Robert Mathis in his 14th season. Osweiler, he's going to go down. He's going to lose the ball. And you mentioned Mathis's name. He doesn't have a sack this season, but he gets in there and creates the fumble. And even though Houston recovers it, it's a big loss on the play. And it sets up a 4th down and 19. Loss of 9.
Lamar Miller said, this is not what I signed up for. These are the glory days when they didn't try to go out and get the sack as much as just stripping it. It still counts as a sack, and that was almost a huge play to start this game for Brock Osweiler. Not a great start at all, missing that pass and then giving up that sack.
45 sack fumbles created in his illustrious career for number 98. Now Leckler's punt is fielded at the 39-yard line by Quan Bray, and Bray gets taken down after a return of about 7 yards. Luck will go to work. There's a look at Mathis. Back after this. Sunday Night Football brought to you by the 2017 Kia Sorrento. Learn more at kia.com. By Fitbit. Find yours at fitbit.com. By GE, the industrial company that's also a digital company. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And a little collage there. 15-year anniversary of the Houston Texans. 15th season. Came into the league in 2002. Granted the franchise back in 99. They got up to speed. Robert Mathis certainly up to speed with his first sack of the season, creating a 4th and 19 and a punt, and good field position for Andrew Luck and the Colts, taking over at their own 46-yard line. Luck has been healthy all year. Last year he missed 9 games, 2 because of a shoulder and 7 because of a lacerated kidney. They split Frank Gore now, their running back, wide to the right, empty the backfield, go 5 wide on the first play from scrimmage. And Luck dancing around and throws underneath, and it is caught at the 45 by Dwayne Allen. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Career against the Texans, he's played in 6 games and won 5 of them. Great TD interception ratio and a good rating as well. Luck, number 1 pick overall in the draft back in 2012 out of Stanford. Grew up here in the Houston area. Son of Oliver Luck, one-time NFL quarterback. And he hands the ball off to Frank Gore, but Gore gets taken down. Clowney is in there. And also Corey Moore coming in from his safety spot. 4-yard loss, and it's 3rd and 5.
Watch this loop back inside here by Jadeveon Clowney. That sort of quickness was his trademark coming out of college, and the reason he was the first overall pick. We saw that a lot in the game last week against the Minnesota Vikings, and boy, he's flashing early here today.
Yeah, just trying to stay healthy. Oft injured over the first 2 seasons. Different story this year. 3rd down now and 5. They bring in Robert Turbin, the former Seahawk and Cowboy, and Brown as well. And now you've got, well, was timeout called? It was. The Colts had called the timeout before the ball got loose. Crazy action. Bill Vinovich, the official. And let's take a look at the Colts offense during this timeout.
Andrew Luck, Stanford University.
Frank Gore, the U.
T.Y. Hilton, FIU.
Philip Dorsett, the U.
Dwayne Allen, Clemson.
Jack Doyle, Western Kentucky.
Anthony Costanzo, Boston College.
Jack Mewhort, The Ohio State University.
Ryan Kelly, Alabama.
Denzel Good, Marshall University.
Joe Haig, North Dakota State.
So 2 rookies up front. They drafted 4 rookies, offensive line rookies last year. One guy missing is Dante Moncrief. Good wideout. He'd be number 2 to T.Y. Hilton, and they hope to have him back in a week or 2. They heard on opening day against Detroit. So it's 3rd down and 5. 4-man rush. Luck under pressure, and it's a flag. So Luck just plants the ball in the ground. Bill Vinovich will come in and make the call.
False start. Offense number 71. Right penalty. First down.
That's Denzel Good. He's the right guard. The left side of that line is really good. The right side is a little shaky.
First round draft pick Ryan Kelly. You see as he steps this way, the ball's also going to go that way. So something a young center's got to work on. You're always worried about that quickness over the nose. Can't let it affect your snap.
3rd and 10, 5-man rush this time, and broken up at the 45-yard line. Intended for Allen. Eddie Pleasant comes in.
Well, this is the #1 ranked pass defense in the National Football League, and we worried about the pressure, but on the back end, they are pretty darn good as well. Eddie Pleasant, one of several cover guys on the back end that have flashed in the last few weeks. Nice play there.
Pat McAfee to do the punting, having another tremendous season. He's averaging 51.8 yards per kick.
Clowney is right there.
If he averages his average here, he's going to put the ball down at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Instead, he angles it, and a fair catch is made by Tyler Irvin at the 10-yard line. So each team has had the ball once. No score. Early first in Houston. You won't have to miss a moment of tonight's game with the NBC Sports app. You can watch the game anywhere, live on your laptop, tablet, or connected TV. Downtown Houston, about a 20-25 minute drive away from NRG Stadium, which was built right next to the Astrodome, which still stands even though nothing has happened in there, but still upright.
Houston Oilers.
Yes.
I used to have that song memorized.
The blue.
We get smoked in there and you get on the plane singing it.
From the 10-yard line, they give it to Miller. Not much happening on the left side. He gets taken down after a gain of 1. So the Colts went out and they changed coordinators in the offseason. Greg Minuski had been there, and Ted Monachino is now there. He was at Baltimore and was on the same staff with the Ravens when Chuck Pagano was there. So trying to get it all together. As we said at the top, of course, you're giving up 30 points per game. They're 3rd worst in that area. They're giving up 410.6 yards per game. That's over 100 yards per quarter. They're just trying to get it figured out. 2nd and 9. Miller again to the outside, and they figure Miller out on back-to-back plays. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
And that's a really good sign, because one of the big flaws with this Colts defense has been their tackling, and they admit it as well. They are missing tackles at a 16.6% clip according to Pro Football Focus. Total of 49 missed tackles. That is almost unbelievable, Al, but so far here tonight doing a much better job.
16.6 is 1 out of 6.
There you go.
There you go. Got the calculator going here. Tyler Irvin in the backfield. 3rd down and 8 from the 12-yard line. Pressure on. Osweiler moves away and then a little bit underthrown. Again, he targets Hopkins and can't get it to him. So the two still having a little trouble finding the connection on a week-by-week basis. 4th down.
Here's Hopkins right here, just going to simple little outbreak, and really there was no pressure for Brock Osweiler there, and he decided to move out of the pocket. Not sure if that was designed or not, but he really could have stood in that pocket, saw a little pressure maybe out of the secondary off the left, decided to move and mistimed again.
Shane Leckler takes the snap in the end zone and just does get it away. The heat was really put on. Bray is there and calls for a fair catch on the plus side of the 50 at the Houston 49-yard line, nearly blocked off the foot of Leckler. So Luck takes over near midfield. Protection's always been an issue since Luck came into the league in 2012. Sack or contacted the highest rate in the NFL. It's almost 1 out of 3 times he drops back. 30 different offensive line combinations in his 60 career starts. 4 this season alone, tied for most in the NFL. So new guys up front, pressure put on him. Sometimes he admits he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. Tough to get down, though. He's almost like Roethlisberger in that way. 6'4", 240 pounds.
Under pressure 40% of the time, and his rating drops from 114 to 59 when he's under pressure.
from the 50 off the play fake. Look out from behind. He feels it and gets away and extends the play and then throws the ball a wobbly duck, incomplete. Whitney Merciless put the heat on. We talked about Clowney, and Merciless is the other guy who needs a big night for the Texans.
Well, and Andrew Luck likes these 7-step drops. So when he hits the back line at about 10 or 11 yards, he's got to step up, and that time Merciless almost worked his way around the edge. But that is what Luck can do. You mentioned Ben Roethlisberger. That's exactly what big, strong guy can get out of some of those tough situations. But sometimes you got to get that ball off a little quicker too.
2nd and 10. They give it to Gore at the age of 33. Still a very effective runner. Takes the ball to the 45. So many years, of course, in San Francisco, and then came over here last year.
He is all football all the time. The joke kind of is, can anybody have a conversation with him that doesn't revolve around football? They all say, anytime you talk to him, that's all he talks about. And tonight he's going up against his old buddy Vince Wilfork, who played at the U with him. Both of them have been around a long time.
He comes out on 3rd down. Josh Ferguson, a rookie out of Illinois, who's their second leading receiver, comes into the game. They send him out into the pattern, and Luck looks downfield. Now Luck's going to take it himself, and he is going to pick up the 1st down. Needed to get to the 40-yard line. Gets inside the 40 to move the sticks.
You can see what they're going to do. This whole crowd kind of just standing up and milling around, but they all end up coming this way. So Luck's just going to escape the one way that they didn't bring any pressure and pick up the 1st down.
And Gore comes back in right now. A little under 9 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Houston trying to go 2 games up on Indy and 1 game up on Tennessee with a win. Indy would be tied for the top spot if they win tonight. Gore again. He'll swing to the outside, and Frank Gore for a gain of almost 8. Well, I tell you, the University of Miami's turned out some real good running backs, real good players, period. But Frank Gore would top that list among the Hurricanes in terms of rushing.
Here's what you don't see very often is Frank Gore bouncing the ball to the outside. Part of the Texans' plan here tonight was to really try and clog those interior running lanes and force him to do some of that. And Frank Gore said, well, whatever you want. Bounces right out there for a nice pickup on 1st down.
2nd down and about a yard and a half from just outside the 31-yard line. Give it to him again. And Frank Gore, that graphic went by. He's made 82 straight starts. You think about running backs, and I mean, you got guys like Adrian Peterson and Arian Foster who have been terrific but get injured. This guy, that 82 straight starts, that's over 5 seasons worth.
It's amazing for somebody that's been around as long as he has. And the one thing that you always hear from defensive players talking about Frank Gore is they hate playing against him. He is so low to the ground. That time Brian Cushing basically was in a squat, like you'd see a weightlifter trying to get underneath his pad level. You just can't do it.
1st down. Give Gore a breather. Bring Turbin into the game in the backfield. Luck out of the gun. Swings it to the outside. Turbin makes the catch, and he picks up 9 yards. 2nd and 1. Let's take a look at the Houston defense.
Jadeveon Clowney, South Carolina.
Vince Wilfork, the U.
Christian Covington, Rice.
Whitney Merciless, Illinois.
Brian Cushing, Bergen Catholic, New Jersey.
Bernard McKinney, Mississippi State.
John Simon, Ohio State.
Kevin Johnson, Wake Forest.
Corey Moore, Georgia.
Andre Howell, Vanderbilt. Jonathan Joseph, South Carolina.
And Indy comes up, no huddle, and the ball is given away here to Turbin again, and this time he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage, setting up 3rd down and short.
Boy, what a great play by Brian Cushing here. He just read that one all the way and undercut the running back's legs here.
Chuck Pagano a little upset that the ball wasn't ready for play when Indy wanted it.
That is a rock-solid tackle from Cushing.
Yeah, they held him up. It looked like Indy was trying to go quickly, and the officials were letting Houston get set, and I think that's why Pagano was miffed. 3rd and 2, and that is incomplete. Good coverage there. Philip Dorsett was the intended receiver. Kevin Johnson covering, so they get 9 yards on 1st down, but can't convert, and it's 4th and 2.
They're still arguing about what you were talking about there, Al. Here we go. And Kevin Johnson, it was interesting talking with Bill O'Brien about some of the possible injuries, whether or not Jonathan Joseph was going to be able to play, all those sorts of things. Said, don't worry about my cornerbacks. Kevin Johnson, A.J. Boye, some of the guys you don't know are really good.
Adam Vinatieri, the ageless wonder at 43. Can he kick his 39th field goal in a row? Yes, he can, pending the flag. So there's a penalty. It was 4th down and 2. Vinatieri, I mean, he's just been incredible throughout his career. If any other kicker beside Jan Stenerud gets into Canton, he's the guy. Get the call here from Vinovich to see if Vinatieri has to kick again.
Formation. Offense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
And he does, so they'll tack on 5 more here.
Al, you ever play against a guy with a great wedge game that looks like he just punches it? That's Vinatieri.
Yeah.
Watch this. I mean, there's no wasted motion here at all. Just a little pop. There it is, right in the middle of the green. 2-putt and get out of there.
He's been amazing. Some of the greatest clutch kicks in the history of the league. 41-yard attempt. No problem. So 39 in a row. He's 3 shy of the all-time record. 3-0 Indianapolis. Tuesday, a lot of folks talking about this show, TV's #1 new show, an all-new This Is Us, Tuesday after The Voice on NBC. Chris, you and Fred Godelli, our producer, Drew Escoff, director, you own that horse, right? And try to get him in to a claimer at Keeneland, but there he is on the streets of downtown Houston.
He goes faster than that, but just a little.
Pat McAfee now sends this one into the end zone for a touchback. Talking about Vinatieri and that streak, 39 straight for the amazing Vinatieri. And Mike Vanderjagt, a one-time Colt, had 42 in a row. Gary Anderson 40, so Vinatieri 1 behind. And he booms them too. 41 yards is the average length of his field goals. He's already kicked 5 50-yard or more field goals this season and 9 during the streak. So it's not as if he's just kicking chip shot after chip shot.
2 50-yarders last week, right?
Amazing against Chicago.
Alert! 57!
So 3-0 Colts. This drive begins at the 25 with no gain. Lamar Miller taken down there by DeQuell Jackson, the inside linebacker who spent 8 seasons with Cleveland before getting here 3 years ago. 2nd down.
Well, Jackson was fired up the other night. They have made some changes. They're on this defense. Cut Antonio Cromartie, C.O. Moore. Here's Jackson right here. And he felt like that this was going to be their night. He was really confident, wasn't he?
Absolutely. And a guy who, just got tired of losing in Cleveland is what it amounted to, an amicable departure and headed to Indy. And that pass is caught up at the 29 just to finish on DeQuell Jackson. It's funny because a lot of guys, if you're a linebacker, you're thinking about the defense, who the defensive coordinator is, what you're running, what the scheme and all of that. He told us last night, he said, I was looking for a good quarterback. I needed the other side of the ball to do it. He found one.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to go through that again. He came into the Indianapolis locker room. He says, they had all these banners up, all these championships, all that. He said, in Cleveland, we just had wood.
3rd down and 6. From the 29-yard line. Low snap, but no problem for Osweiler. Fires, and that's incomplete over the middle. Intended for Jalen Strong. So Osweiler tonight, his start is 1 for 5 for 4 yards.
And he's starting to hear it already. He has made some bad throws here tonight. I'm just going to tell you straight up. He's missed high on several occasions. Earlier he had Hopkins wide open and missed him on that crossing route. People are patient here, but he needs to show a little something in this game against this defense.
Leckler already punting for the 3rd time, and the game is not even 11 minutes old. And that was bound out of bounds up around the 37, 38-yard line, even farther upfield, the 40. 3-0. Not a good sign for the Colts right there. Their tight end, Dwayne Allen, getting that right ankle wrapped up. The other guys who play tight end for them are Jack Doyle, sees a lot of action, and Eric Swope would be the other tight end.
And Kobe Fleener is now playing for the New Orleans Saints.
And playing well, too.
Yep, had a big play today.
Yep. From the 40-yard line with 4.5 to go in the opening frame. Fake to Gore, Luck. Up ahead to the 43. 2nd and 7. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, the update on Dwayne Allen is that he's questionable with that right ankle injury. Andrew Luck calls him a great big target in the red zone. For now, he's not in there. And by the way, we told you earlier that he took a knee after the anthem. Well, the Colts tell us that is just a prayer he says at the end of the anthem. He's always done that. It is not a protest, Al.
All right. That's good. I'm glad we got that in there. He was standing up, and then he went down and said a prayer, and here he is just hoping to get back in this game at some point, but not likely the way that looks. 2nd down and 7 at the 43-yard line. Fake the end around, set up a screen. This is Gore. Flag is thrown. You saw that come into the shot. And for the moment, that would be a first down, but let's wait and see. Bill Vinovich coming over to get the call.
That offensive lineman way downfield. Don't know if that's it.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Jack Buhort, the left guard.
Yeah.
Take a look at the Houston staff. There's Romeo Crennel, a lifer. He's been coaching just about his entire career. The defensive coordinator, head coach at Cleveland for 4 seasons, then took over at Kansas City for part of 1 season and 1 full season, and now the defensive coordinator on the staff of Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, he's obviously worked a long time with Belichick. Who do you think he's planning on taking out of this game? T.Y. Hilton's going to have a long night.
2nd and 12, and that pass is caught coming across the middle. Breaking tackles, Chester Rogers down the sideline, and Rogers is forced out of bounds at about the 25. A rookie, went to Grambling State. Reading about him during the week, a guy who was a child actor, and he said, well, I couldn't really make it in acting, so the football was a better thing for me, and it's turned out to be.
He's acting like a big-time wide receiver right now. Look at this play. McKinney had him sort of dead to rights, and he spins out of that thing. That was pretty spectacular. The Colts got it going on.
And they give it to Gore now, and Gore is taken down about a yard past the line of scrimmage by Jonathan Joseph. Make it 2nd down and 9 for the Colts.
You can see all the inside presence here for the Houston Texans. They are trying to take away that between the tackles kind of run. They are just loading up right in there. And, of course, when Vince Wilfork's part of that load up, that's like having an extra guy in there. So they're forcing this bounce out, and that's where they think that they can basically contain Frank Gore.
There he is, old pal of Gore, who went to the University of Miami, crossed paths there. So many years, of course, that New England has his share of Super Bowl rings. 2nd down and 9. And that is caught at the 20-yard line by Jack Doyle. And that'll make it 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing that Andrew Luck has to do right there. You know, basically the best pass protectors in the National Football League are quarterbacks. When you think about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers when he wants to get the ball out quickly. But you do this 2 or 3 times in a row, just get the ball out, get it to your tight end. All of a sudden they quit blitzing, you're a little more comfortable in the pocket, then go get the big plays.
3rd down 3. And the inside handoff, and Frank Gore needed 3 and got 4. Gets to the 15-yard line. McKinney makes the tackle with 1.5 minutes, and this game has started out with Indianapolis gaining 87 yards to Houston's 5.
McKinney is a big, strong guy, and he is going to hit Frank Gore, and would not have been a first down if he'd been able to make this tackle. But Gore's just going to carry him for another 3 yards and get that first down. That's the reason Frank Gore has been able to play in this league as long as he has.
Final minute of the first quarter. Gore taken down by John Simon, getting to the 11. Indianapolis very good in the red zone this season. They've been in there 13 times and have scored touchdowns on 11 of those occasions. They're best in the league at that. League average, as you see, is 57%. They're at 85. And they're in there right now with the second down. Let's call it 7.
And Andrew Luck has been sensational, completing 77% of his passes in the red zone and with 7 touchdowns to go with that.
Empties the backfield. 2nd and 7. Buying time, throwing, and that's going to set up a first down and goal to Jack Doyle in his 4th year out of Western Kentucky, covered there by Johnson. And there's a flag on the play.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So instead of a 1st and goal, it had been 2nd down and 7.
As you see so many times, Al, this time the rookie center Ryan Kelly, when a scramble starts to happen, you'll see the center reach out and basically grab a jersey here to try, and you can see the jersey pulling towards him there, and it's such an easy call for the officials. Some of the other holding you can get away with in this league is almost mind-boggling. You can kind of put your arms around the outside of their shoulder pads, but the minute that jersey tug happens, it's automatic.
Yeah, they wind the clock. They'll change ends. It'll be 2nd and 17 when we come back. 3-0 Indy at the break. Sunday Night Football. Back after these messages.
We got a battle tonight. A winner take all. Ain't nothing like Sunday Night Football.
High above downtown Houston, Texas. Tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by Geico. And back at NRG Stadium, Al Michaels, Chris Collins with Michelle DeBoyer. Sunday Night Football. It's very one-sided there. 90 total yards for the Colts and 5 for the Texans, and -9 in passing because sacks are included in that figure. And as we begin the second quarter, it's 2nd down and 17 after the penalty, moving them back to the 22-yard line. And Luck fires over the middle, caught, open, touchdown, Jack Doyle. Andrew Luck telling us last night, he said, hey, I got some great teammates, but this guy may be my favorite.
He said everybody's favorite, right? Jack Doyle, that hard play fake inside. He's going to hold the linebackers just long enough for Doyle to sneak in behind. And once again, we see Andrew Luck working his magic, this time just outside the red zone. But that play fake holds those linebackers all the time.
It's Doyle's 3rd touchdown catch of the season. Luck has now thrown 11 touchdowns to go with only 3 interceptions. So it's 9-0 going on 10. Vinatieri. McAfee puts it down, and the kick is good. So Andrew Luck, chemistry tonight. Osweiler's still looking for it. It's the battle of the big money boys right now. Luck has the biggest contract in the history of the league at the moment. And Osweiler got the $72 million, about half of which was guaranteed, but he still has to earn his keep to this point.
You know, and there's a lot of things to talk about, but I think the number one thing so far has been accuracy. He has had guys open. He really didn't in his last outing against Minnesota. There weren't that many guys running open, but in this one, guys have been running open, and he just has been unable to hit it. And you can sense the uneasiness in this crowd. They want to believe. It's been a long time since they've had a quarterback, if ever, with this franchise, and they were hoping that Osweiler was going to be it.
Over O'Brien's 2 years here, he's had 7 different starting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So they had to find a guy. It's so funny because he had 4 of these guys last year. There is Bill in his 3rd season. And, well, Osweiler is one of the 4 guys who are starting. Fitzpatrick starting for the Jets, Hoyer starting for Chicago, and Case Keenum for the Rams. They lost today, but Keenum at one point completed 20 straight passes.
And Hoyer's been playing well in Chicago. So, you know, you just begin to wonder. But one thing I know in this league, when somebody's open, you can't miss. And we've seen several misses already.
McAfee booms one through the end zone. Houston, we have a problem. You got Osweiler to Hopkins, so they've completed only about half of the targets to him. Rating is very low. 5 interceptions on passes intended for him. Over the 3 years here, 32 catches deep downfield, 20 or more yards. only 2 through 5 games this season.
Yeah, and you have to put the numbers up for Hopkins. Last season, with all the shaky quarterbacks supposed to play, 111 catches, 1,500 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Does not look like on that pace now.
Well, the first time they came up in that formation, they run out of a straight I, and Lamar Miller picks up 14 yards. So they've been spreading it out, going one back. They go with a couple of backs here, a fullback, and pick up 14.
Great down block, great kick out block there by the fullback, Jay Prosh. That is just old school Dallas Cowboys, Moose Johnson, Emmitt Smith. Here we go. That's the way it's supposed to look, and that's what's been hurting the Indianapolis Colts, those first down plays.
From the 39, here's Miller. By the way, speaking of the old school Cowboys, the new school Cowboys aren't bad either. How about that win today at Green Bay? They're off, and we'll get our first promo 2 weeks from tonight on Sunday Night Football. Philadelphia at Dallas.
Cannot wait for that one. The Dallas Cowboys. And how about the job they're doing on the defensive side over there with all the suspensions, all the doubts about that.
Tremendous. 2nd and 8. Osweiler on the move, and he's able to complete that up to the 50 to Braxton Miller, who was a very fine quarterback at Ohio State, got hurt, missed a year, came back, made him a wideout, and he got drafted in the 3rd round out of Ohio State.
Comes Brock Osweiler. He's got a little 3-quarter motion to him, especially on the run. They were hoping to get some hands in front of him, but that was the most accurate throw he's made here. And I'm with you on Braxton Miller. I think he has a chance to become a really exciting wide receiver. He's only been playing the position now. This is just his 2nd year.
And there's action on the offensive front.
Ball start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Moreeeee, the right guard. He's starting in place of the injured Jeff Allen, who they picked up in the offseason from the Chiefs to cement that role.
Yeah, the entire right side of this offensive line. Chris Clark playing for Derek Newton. Greg Mance playing for Nick Martin, their 2nd-round pick. They got hurt as well, so little makeshift over there.
On 1st and 15. Osweiler fires, and that's incomplete over the middle. Cutting across. David Parry put the pressure on. The pass was intended for the tight end Fedorowicz, and it will be 2nd down and 15.
You know, one of the things that this Texans offense had a lot of problems with last week was a coverage called 2-man, where basically you keep 2 guys deep to take away the big throws and then just play man coverage underneath there. And it looks like the Colts are going to give him a 2nd dose of that medicine here tonight.
2nd and 15. O'Brien, whose pedigree is offense, he calls the plays. And this is Miller with some tough running, getting it back across midfield. It'll be 3rd and 8. Mike Adams makes the tackle. Think about O'Brien, of course. You know, the one thing you take with you from the New England days is that sideline confrontation with Tom Brady. I mean, he doesn't take anything from anybody.
No. Bill's a guy, you know, and as much as he loved New England and loves Bill Belichick, he said the thing that I learned more than anything else is I have to be myself. I can't be Bill Belichick. I can't be somebody else. I've just got to do it my way and hope it works.
And he got him to the playoffs last year. 3rd down and 8. Osweiler pressured, avoids the sack, and then just fires the ball into the Indy bench, and some of the boos will start to cascade down again. It's pretty predictable. 4th down.
One of the guys they're really hoping to get going is right there. Kendall Langford missed the preseasons, coming back, working against Oday Obushi, the backup here. And if they can just finally start to get this defensive line going, Arthur Jones coming back from a suspension, Kendall Langford, Henry Anderson's getting healthier, they think this can be a really good defensive line.
Leckler's 4th punt of the game. This is Bray calling for a fair catch and hauling it in at the 7-yard line. 12:07 left in the half. It's 10-0 Colts. Mentioned before, Frank Gore, leading ground gainer, who came from the University of Miami, and they've had a lot of good ones, of course, through the years. Edgerrin James, longtime Colt. Otis Anderson had a great Super Bowl for the Giants after spending most of his career in St. Louis. Clinton Portis, of course, with Washington and with Denver. 5 guys who went to Miami with that many yards in the NFL. And they'll start this drive from the 7-yard line.
What's amazing is the Colts now 55 games without a 100-yard rusher. It almost seems impossible. Frank Gore had a 98-yard game against the Texans last year. Got close, but not quite.
Yeah, that translates to 3.5 seasons worth. Luck going deep down the sideline and adjusting and making the catch at the 37-yard line. T.Y. Hilton, the coverage was very good at first, and then Hilton is able to adjust on the throw, and that's a gain of 31 yards.
Anytime you see one-on-one coverage, you can just bet on it, because Andrew Luck knows that he has to give this guy a chance. T.Y. Hilton now has 2 of his last 3 games over 170 yards, and already 2 big moments, game-winning moments for T.Y. Hilton. He has been tremendous.
Yeah, Kareem Jackson would normally be the corner guarding him, but he's hurt, so it's Johnson. And now you get a nice run here by Frank Gore, getting the ball out to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4.
This whole right side of the offensive line's doing a nice job. These 2 young guys, and then the center, Kelly, the #1 draft pick. Watch the double team. Denzel Good is like 350 pounds playing the right guard position. The rookie Joe Haig over there, he's been rock solid. As long as they can keep in the running game and play action, they should be fine. They can't get into those situations where it's just pure pass rush and they're way behind the sticks.
2nd and 4. You got Gore going behind Doyle, and he takes the ball into Texan territory. And at the age of 33, looks like he's 23. His number right there. Takes the ball all the way to the 34-yard line for Frank Gore. Off to a tremendous start. He may get that 100 yards. That's 22 right there.
No wonder everybody likes Jack Doyle. Watch this block. Well, maybe not.
We'll see it in a second because they hustle up to the line of scrimmage to get the snap off. Now the long count here. Gore wants to check. Normally it's very noisy here, but the Colts have taken a lot of the crowd out of the game. And Luck will go deep down the left sideline, and it's incomplete, intended for Dorsett. Johnson fell down on the play, looks for a flag, gets none. 2nd down and 10.
Let's go back and watch Jack Doyle's block coming right in here to make this kick out block. Bang, bang, there he goes. When offensive plays work, they can just be things of beauty. I'll tell you, Ryan Kelly's doing a nice job in there at the center position as well.
#1 draft choice out of national champion Alabama. This one, Ryan Kelly.
There's no doubt they're trying to build this offensive line. It looks pretty good here tonight.
2nd and 10. Heat coming. Swing it out to Turbin. And he can go next to nowhere. Kevin Johnson is right there with him. Loss of 1. 3rd down and 11.
Jadeveon Clowney right there. Check out some of these moves. This is what we've been seeing here lately out of him. That wiggle that had been gone because of the injury to his knee. Now going right by one of the better guards. Jack Muhort's really had a nice year. And that's the strength of this Colts offensive line. Costanzo on the left and Jack Muhort.
3rd and 11. If it's an incomplete pass here, you're going to have Vinatieri's streak trying to get 40, and it'll be about a 53-yarder. First things first, though, on 3rd down and 11. Luck throws, and what a catch. That's Hilton. And he has the defender draped all over him, Charles James. And they're going to spot that ball, and it should be a 1st down as they line it up against the sticks. And Vinovich says, move those chains.
Well, first of all, it's a great throw. Luck is only going to allow his guy to have a chance at this one. And anytime you have a guy like T.Y. Hilton who just continues to make great catches, as a quarterback, you continue to give him chances to make great catches. What a player.
Ball at the 24-yard line. 8.5 to the half. Gore with Doyle leading the way, and this time stuffing the play. for no gain. Max Bullen, number 53. Doyle tried to take him on, and he beat him, and then he makes the tackle.
Yeah, they were trying to do that same play that had worked before, but that time the stunt went the other way, so Jack Doyle tried to make a little adjustment, and the play just basically fell apart. But for Bill O'Brien, he has to get a stop here defensively because his offense is showing absolutely no signs of life to this point.
2nd and 10. And Luck extending the play, and then it's incomplete. T.Y. Hilton came back to try to help him out. It'll be 3rd down and 10, and Luck has begun the game 8 of 13 for 123 yards.
Well, T.Y. Hilton's got a lot of eyeballs on him everywhere he goes. He and Brian Cushing had a little dance that time. Cushing was going to try and take his head off coming across there. And I think it just distracted T.Y. Watch him come across the middle, and Cushing is he's doing everything he can to stay in front of him, just give him a shot, but Hilton wasn't going to take it.
A little hop there at the end for Hilton. Looked like he might have injured something slightly, but he's okay for the moment. Lines up in the slot. Luck, he's going to pack it in, and he's going to run to about the 18-yard line. Stop there. Merciless makes the tackle, and that's going to set up an opportunity for Vinatieri to extend his streak to 40 straight field goals.
Boy, it's a good thing they had somebody as fast as Merciless on the outside, because it looked like Luck, who's pretty fast himself, was about to go for this 1st down, and Merciless just ran it down from the backside to come up with a stop and get Vinatieri out there.
So a 37-yard attempt. Matt Overton does a great job snapping. McAfee, not only a fabulous punter, but the perfect holder. And then there's Vinatieri from 37. What else is new? 40 straight, 2 shy of the record. 6:55 to go in the half. 13-0 Indianapolis. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Verizon. Join a better network because better matters. By the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere. By Subway. Try the new thick cut autumn carb turkey sandwich. And by Bose. Get closer. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That was Lamar Miller. Some of the Texans visiting the breast cancer patients earlier this week at Houston Methodist. Folks visited patients at Indiana University Cancer Center. Breast Cancer Awareness Month around the National Football League.
Get those mammograms.
Kickoff is downed in the end zone there by Tyler Irvin. And we'll see if Houston can get something started on offense. That's the matchup. It's the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers Thursday night. NFL Network, CBS streaming live on Twitter at about 8:30. Chicago losing to Jacksonville, and Green Bay knocked off by Mr. Dak Prescott. And those Dallas Cowboys are off next week, and then we'll be on Sunday night against Philadelphia 2 weeks from tonight.
52.
From the 25-yard line, Osweiler is 2 of 8 for 14 yards. Short drop, quick throw, and it's a 5-yard gain. Hopkins. Brock Osweiler, of course, he was the big story, Chris, here in Houston. A $72 million contract, about half of it guaranteed.
Yeah, and he said it was 1,000%, to steal your term there, a football decision. There was no offer from Denver there, so that, I think, bothered him maybe a little bit. He was benched. Remember last year on the Super Bowl run, they put Peyton Manning back in. He said, no big deal, it's Peyton Manning. But you just wonder if he had been made an offer and had a chance to maybe finish out the season. Who knows? He did finally get an offer from Denver, but it came much later in the process.
Right, and he said, hey, and it's funny because he was drafted, while Manning had come to Denver, and obviously he was the understudy, and he spent 3 years on the bench, saw action in, at the end of games a couple of times, and then last year when Peyton had that injury is when he had the opportunity.
Well, but he took a look at this Houston situation with their defense and DeAndre Hopkins.
Meanwhile, here's Miller, and he's off to the races, taking the ball out to the 50-yard line. Nice run here by Miller as he tries to get something going on the ground, and that's 9 carries for 57 yards and 19-yard gain here.
Eric Walden, I think, was convinced it was going to be a pass. He runs himself out, and Suafilo right there going to get the seal. There's nothing left. And finally, we're starting to see a few breakout runs that we anticipated all along from Lamar Miller.
His longest run of the season here, and it's their 6th game. Alfred Blue comes in to give Miller a break. Number 28, he's the running back. They take it to him. Osweiler over the middle and open, making the catches for Dorowitz, and the tight end will pick up 22 and another Texan first down as they get something going for the first time tonight.
There you go. You hit a long run, then you go hard play action, pull the guard, make it look like a run, and then get the tight end going right behind those linebackers. Absolutely perfect, and an on-target throw, which we needed to see out of Brock Osweiler. That one looks sharp.
So 4 plays, they picked up 48 yards in those 4, 2 runs, 2 passes. Come up in the eye this time and give the ball to Miller, and Miller will swing to the outside and get taken down from behind on a nice tackle at the 23-yard line by Clayton Gathers. 2nd and 5.
Yeah, they have some good safeties here for the Indianapolis Colts. Clayton Gathers is a really rock-solid tackler. Mike Adams is such a great guy in the back end, is disguising, so smart, came from Denver. But they have a kid that I really like that's been mixing in here as well, number 32, TJ Green, who's made a lot of plays this year.
2nd and 5. Osweiler, good protection this time, and he throws a little high. Tyler Irvin, the rookie who had lined up in the backfield, rookie out of San Jose State. Josh McNary covers. 3rd down, we check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Texans corner Jonathan Joseph went back for x-rays. He is questionable with a right forearm injury. The Texans were already short-handed at corner with Kareem Jackson out. And Colts defensive end Henry Anderson questionable with a knee injury, and the Colts say it's the left knee.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So the guys who would be the starting corners both out. Jackson, of course, is out, period. And we'll see about Joseph after they check him out. 3rd down and 5 now from the 22-yard line. 3-man rush. Osweiler fires, caught, and spinning, getting the first down is Hopkins to the 15-yard line. 1st and 10.
No man coverage this time, just going to come out in a zone defense and break to the out. I was afraid that Hopkins was going to fool around here and not pick up that first down, but finally realized where he was and made a dive for it. So it looks like Osweiler is settling in, don't you think, Al? He looks a little more comfortable here.
Absolutely. After he had done next to nothing, 2 for 8, he was at the beginning of this drive. This drive 3 out of 4. Looking sharp. Play clock is down to 2. Here comes the blitz. Do a nice job picking it up. Going to the end zone. There's action in the end zone. The crowd wants a flag. Intended for Braxton Miller. Rashawn Melvin covering on the play. There is none. Crowd lets the officials have it. And it's 2nd down and 10.
Melvin all the way is going to end up on the inside of this play and comes back. There is a little contact, but it's as he turns around to look for the ball. Well played, I thought, by Melvin there.
Good no call, as they say. 2nd down and 10. 3:08 to go in the half. 13-0. Indy on top.
Have to call timeout.
Yeah. Guys running in and out. Timeout taken here. The chase is on NBCSN. NASCAR drivers one last chance to advance to the round of 8. Face the gauntlet at Talladega next Sunday on NBCSN. One more race left. Earlier today, Kevin Harvick from Kansas to join Jimmy Johnson in the round of 8. Here are the standings right there. Great background for that promo, huh?
Jimmy Johnson's a good guy.
Yeah.
A lot of Jim Johnsons in the world of football. I can never forget his name.
No.
Had a chance to meet him several times.
2nd down and 10 now after the Colts took the timeout. And that's a 2-yard gain here for Lamar Miller. Parry is the guy who first stops him. Under 3 minutes to go now. in the half, and it's 3rd down and 8 for the Texans.
Obviously, big moment in the game here. You don't want to take too many chances here, but this is now where Brock Osweiler needs to make a play. You know, this is the reason you get paid those kinds of dollars to convert these 3rd and 8s in the red zone.
Right. Next to worst in the league in the red zone in terms of percentage. We showed you earlier, Indy was number 1 in the red zone. 3rd down and 8. Osweiler taking it down to the outside, but that only gets him to the 10-yard line. Fedorowicz gets taken down. Darius Butler makes the tackle. They needed 8, got 4, so it's 4th and 4. Take a look at the club on Butler on the right hand there, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, had surgery on that hand, and they didn't think he was going to be able to play, and somebody said, just put it in a big bubble, and they said, okay. He made a big play.
That's what he did. 2-minute warning. Field goal attempt coming next. 13-0 Indianapolis. Drive bogs down. They moved 66 yards from their own 25-yard line, but 4th and 4. So Nick Novak, 11 of 14 this season. Picked him up last year in September. A chip shot field goal attempt here from 27 yards away to try to get Houston off the schneid. Shane Leckler to put it down. And the first 3 points of the night for the Houston Texans come here. 1:57 to the half, 10-point game. So to halftime coming your way, the Seahawks beat the Falcons in a wild one up north. Dallas wins at Lambeau. Dak Prescott does it again. Mike Tirico looking ahead of the Bears and the Packers. That's the Thursday night game coming up at halftime as we look at Mission Control in Houston. Or our truck, I don't know. One of it looks about the same, doesn't it? These days.
Yeah, well, pretty soon we might need one that big. Do a little Thursday, a little Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll call down there. Fred and Drew, we've got a problem.
Yeah. Mission Control.
So Novak to kick off. You got Jordan Todman and Quan Bray both back deep. And from a yard in, this is Bray. Starts to stumble, keeps his balance though, and gets the ball out to the 27-yard line. Adam Vinatieri, take a peek.
Yeah, how has he been so good for so long? Well, like a great golfer, the swing doesn't change much. You go back a championship game in the snow in 2001, and it's just the same motion over and over and over again. And obviously this guy has the mental makeup. I've seen him in Super Bowls. He just, nothing seems to bother him. And you try to get him to talk about anything to do with him, it's impossible. Oh, my great teammates. It's that's all he'll ever do.
Very cool guy. I've known him, 21 years in the league. We've been around him a whole bunch. You got a flag here. Age of 43, oldest guy in the league. Here's
infraction. Defense number 59. Unimpeded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
It's merciless. He and Clowney, of course, have to really do the job. J.J. Watt had surgery in the offseason and then was put on the shelf again. Back problems. He is done for the season. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. 1st down and 5 from the 32-yard line. Luck fires to the outside, caught. That's Dorsett making the catch. Stays in bounds. Tackled by James there. And that's a 1st down. It was a 1st and 5. 1st down up at the 38-yard line.
Dorsett, he can fly. 4.33 speed.
And Luck, he's going to pack it in, and there he goes for a long run. Slides to a stop at the 36 of the Texans. So it parted in the middle for him. Luck, that's a 24-yard gallop.
Great job that time by Anthony Costanzo on the outside. They're leaving him one-on-one so they can help that young right side.
And even one timeout. That's caught outside by Chester Rogers. Had the big play earlier. Makes his 2nd grab. Johnson makes the tackle. Clock keeps running down. They'll conserve their timeout. Colts also won the toss and deferred, so they're going to get the ball to start the second half, and they can take almost all the time off the clock here unless Houston wants to use its timeouts. And Luck fires over the middle and into traffic, and that is picked off at the 8-yard line. Robert Nelson comes up with the interception just before it gets to the ground. Nelson with a big interception.
Let's make sure he has it here. Does he maintain control? He does, in my opinion. Robert Nelson was just put on the roster, basically because of some of the injuries, Kareem Jackson and otherwise, and gets his opportunity. We talked about Andrew Luck giving T.Y. Hilton great opportunities, but this was one should not have been thrown here. That inside position with help over the top. It's one you just take and throw away. They just took 3 points off the board.
Yeah, he's ready to whack himself on the side of the helmet as he does, and that's the third pick of the season. Nelson's first career interception.
I think A.J. Boye just told the young fella where the camera was. Say hi to Mom.
Yep. From the 8-yard line, Osweiler. And they've got all of their timeouts. And they're not going to sit on it as Osweiler throws, but that's incomplete up at the 12-yard line. Ryan Griffin, one of the tight ends, the intended receiver, and Luck is just, he's steamed at himself.
Yep, he's a smart guy, but big mistake here. Comes back. He had what great protection he had, and just threw it right into a mess.
Yeah, you would think that's the all-time mismatch there. You got a great receiver against a guy who just was called up.
I can't believe they're going to keep throwing this ball.
Yeah,
get those 3 points back.
It's fired over the middle, and that's going to be a first down, but to the 20-yard line. They take a timeout with 19 seconds left. NFL Game Pass, you can replay the games that you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast versions. NFL.com/Game Pass. Check it out. 19 seconds, 2 timeouts. Well, Osweiler air it out here. Gets away from pressure and slings that away. And I guess at this point, what are you doing? That took 5 seconds off the clock. 14 seconds left in the half.
I'll call this the old pick tough here. Going to go and make a pick here for Mathis and then take that beeline right to the quarterback. Looking out there against Dwayne Brown. Great player. They're happy to have him back after surgery.
You need a good 40-45 yards here to even get into field goal range. And then they'll just run the clock out. The crowd won't be thrilled with that or the entire performance in the first half. So you hear what you expect to hear. A bunch of boos. Colts will get the ball to start the second half. It's 13-3 at the break. Coming up next, they're at halftime right after these messages from your NBC station.
Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Sunday night. Stand up and cheer, stomp your feet, stop clapping. NBC Sunday night about to happen.
For Brock Osweiler, not a great start at all. He has made some bad throws here tonight. I'm just going to tell you straight up.
Houston, we have a problem. Fires over the middle, caught, touchdown, Jack Doyle.
And once again, Andrew Luck working his magic.
And into traffic, and that is picked off at the 8-yard line.
Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row.
Big interception for the Texans at the end of the half. 13-3 is our halftime score. Indy on top. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, Andrew Luck, 135 yards, the 1 TD pass, then the 1 interception. Osweiler had 1 decent drive. Not good the rest of the time. 7 out of 17 for 64. Gore has 51 yards on the ground, and Miller has 66 yards on the ground. So at least some kind of a running game for the Texans tonight. And 40 straight field goals now for the ageless wonder Adam Vinatieri. Luck and company ready to go to work. Nick Novak to send it down toward Juan Ray. And he'll bring it out from the goal line. A couple of decent blocks, but then good coverage. Take it down to the 21, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Andrew Luck came into this game the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Chuck Pagano told me he's happy his quarterback hasn't been sacked. The offensive line is communicating better and playing faster. As for the interception at the end of the half, he said Luck just kind of forced something that wasn't there. As for Bill O'Brien, he said we all have to do better. Coaches have to coach better. Players have to play better. And I said, how do you breathe life into this offense? And he said, I have no idea.
Thank you, Michelle. Well,
I'm with him.
That's not a good sign.
I'm with him.
And Bill's pedigree is offense.
Double one. 170.
First scrimmage play of the third quarter. Fake to Gore, rolls, throws, and winds up hitting Doyle. Takes it out to the 28-yard line. The man who scored the only touchdown in the first half. And a look here at Clowney.
Devian Clowney, he was a bit of a game wrecker early on in this one, but for the most part, he has not dominated nor has Merciless in the way that I thought they might against this offensive line. So let's give some credit to the offensive line up front. They've put in some new guys here. Denzel Good now playing the guard, Joe Haig, and it's been looking pretty good so far.
Second and 4, they probe the right side here, and Gore with a first down. Frank Gore to the 32, but there is a flag down.
Holding. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Second call on Denzel Good, the right guard, and that negates the first down.
I am borderline remarkable. As soon as I praise somebody.
Yep.
There he goes. Working against Clowney, and as this one bounces outside, got that right arm wrapped around and got the call.
Words of old Coach Madden. You put the kibosh on or the kibosh. Take your pick.
Promise not to say anything good about Good the rest of the game.
Good luck. Second and 14. Swinging out to Gore, and Gore had to turn around and make the catch, so he had no chance to turn it upfield, and Kevin Johnson buries him right there. 3rd and 12.
Here's what Houston wants to do is they want to set up one-on-one pass blocking across the board, figuring that one of their guys is going to beat one of your guys. And so far tonight, that has not happened. Now, at the same time, on the back end, Al, it means one-on-one back there too. So if they can hold up one-on-one on the back end, send 5, they feel like they're going to win. But so far for Romeo Cornell, that really hasn't happened.
The Texans defensive coordinator watching his group do its job. 3rd and 12. And a little dump over the middle, and then it's juggled and caught, and Turbin can go nowhere. And so that defense holds, and the offense will get the ball back as Boyer makes the tackle on the play. 4th down.
Well, that was just huge. They really had to make a play to try and create a little opportunity now for this offense. Great defensive stand open this second half.
And you saw Pagano giving it to him good, in the manner of speaking. Took away a first down, created a situation which ends now in a punt by McAfee. This will be his second of the game. The first was 44. The guy who's averaging almost 52 yards a kick this season not only bangs one deep downfield, but pinned the would-be returner up against the sideline, and it rolls to a stop at the 18-yard line, a 61-yard kick. That'll enhance the average about a tenth or so.
Brock Osweiler got the big money. Now it's time to start delivering on it. It was a very poor start to the half. He had some open receivers down the field for big play opportunities, just unable to cash in. Decent coverage on occasion, but just too many times they were not well coordinated. Then, of course, the sack fumble by Mathis. And right now, your defense has come out, made a stop. And this is the time that you really need to start instilling some confidence in your teammates. They're looking, they're hoping, they want to see you. They like this guy. He buys them tickets to shows, he takes them to dinner. They want him to succeed, but he's got to do it.
He's got to start paying some dividends, and he's working tonight against the 30th ranked defense in the league. To the outside now, Miller, at least he's having a big night. And out of bounds he is forced up at around the 40-yard line. Gathers forces him out. That's 22 yards for Miller and 88 so far tonight.
C.J. Fedorowicz right out here is going to make a nice block, and just this bounce out run to the left-hand side has been the most effective play here so far tonight. And that's probably what they need to get going. Don't rely on Osweiler as much as relying on getting the running game going, then come back to the play action.
Miller out for the moment. Alfred Blue is in. They give it to Blue. And Blue, with the crowd chanting his name, picks up a first down on a 13-yard run through the middle. Tackled there by Adams. Good start to this drive.
Yeah, and big Xavier Suafilo over there, that left guard. He's a mauler. You know, he's one of those guys you kind of like to watch fight out there. No, here we go.
Yeah, that's the rookie linebacker, Kurt Majit, free agent out of Tennessee, who needs the attention. Says right here, the critics are raving. Superstore, the funniest comedy on TV this Thursday. No holds barred episode. All new Superstores Thursday. Don't miss it.
If you're a critic, can you rave?
I guess you can. Go to a rave anyway.
There you go.
There's Majid. He's back on the bench. He had to come out. He's to replay. The ball at the 45 as play resumes now. 1st and 10 from the 45. And off to the races again goes Miller. So that's 3 runs on this drive so far, and all of them have resulted in first downs. You got a nice block there from Hopkins. That's a gain of 12.
Bring in an extra offensive lineman, Kendall Lamb, and then Fedorowicz over here is effectively an offensive lineman. So 7 big guys up front. Pretty good block on the outside by Hopkins as well. Now we're starting to see the Lamar Miller we saw oftentimes in Miami.
It's 100 yards for him tonight. Will they add to that? Minimally, if at all. He got a nice contract after coming over. And in effect, it wasn't a trade, but Arian Foster, who'd been the workhorse here for years, had 4 1,000-yard seasons for the Texans, but had to sustain and work through some injuries. He wound up going to Miami, and Miller came here.
Well, and to give you some perspective, we keep talking about what a big play guy he is. His longest run in 2015 was 85 yards for a touchdown. In 2014, he had a 97-yarder for a touchdown, so fully capable.
And this year, his longest run was 15 until tonight. Osweiler fires, and that's caught at the 28-yard line. That's Tyler Urban, rookie, San Jose State, tackled by Geathers, and now you've got a 3rd down and 4.
A couple of war horses going at it on the outside. Dwayne Brown right there working against Robert Mathis, who comes in with the bull rush, but for Dwayne Brown, such a significant return for him. Played in his first game back to Minnesota Vikings, but that's the one guy they can leave one-on-one and then help that offensive line to the other side.
3rd and 4, pressure put on, passes high, but taken in and caught for a first down by DeAndre Hopkins. To the 6'8" Osweiler throws a bullet. Hopkins has to reach up for it. Corrals it, first down.
A nice job by Griffin on the outside here. They're just going to have a little rub and force that defender over the top. Nothing illegal about it, but that's how it works. You just create a little noise in there for that defender running across in man coverage.
4 catches for their number 1 pick, or their number 1 receiver. The number 1 pick, Will Fuller, hasn't been in the game even though he's active tonight. Over the middle, and that's going to be close to a first down as Hopkins over the middle. See where they spot the ball. Looks like a little short of the first down, 2nd and inches upcoming.
Watch DeAndre Hopkins here throw a right hook at Robert Mathis. Get off of me. Not covering me on the inside. And now some of these little plays here, now you're starting to see after those big runs, these play action and some of these passing games starting to work.
Officials call a timeout, bring in the chains. Naked eye, it looks like they're about 4 inches short. I channeled my inner Paul McGuire right there.
There you go. 4? You going full 4 inches on that one?
4 1/4.
Okay.
Or the diameter of a cup in golf, right?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
It's our third golf reference here tonight.
Full of useless information, are we? So it's second down in inches.
I'll tell you, touchdown here, all of a sudden this game gets really interesting, doesn't it?
Comes a 3-point game. It was on its way to maybe being 20-3 if Luck had completed that long pass. Instead, it was intercepted at the end of the half. Kept Houston down by 10, and now they're trying to make that defensive stop on the first series here in the second half pay off on the offensive end.
See, I always look at this as a free play. You're second in inches. You can do anything you want. You can go ahead and get the first down, but this is a great play action opportunity. Take a shot for the quick score. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense right here.
Bunch three receivers to the right. Osweiler rolling that way and then throws underneath, and that's going to get him a first down as Lamar Miller makes the catch. Taken out of bounds at around the 6-yard line. That's Miller's first catch of the night to go with 102 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and Lamar Miller really has not been much of a factor so far in the passing game. He hasn't dropped anything, but in 14 passes. But, you know, here's a guy that you just want to kind of give a chance in the open field. You get him some space and good things will happen.
First and goal from the 7. On the ground again. And he gets about half the distance to the goal line. Miller taking the ball just inside the 4-yard line. Second down and goal, just about the halfway point of the third period.
You know, Lamar Miller is not used to playing the number of plays that he's been playing since he got here. He was one of those guys that was always a question in Miami. If he got more carries, if he got more opportunities, some of the numbers with the average that he had would go through the roof. And now I think they're worried now that he's up over the 60 play count several times. Are they running him too much? Do they need more of Alfred Blue?
Texans are the only team in the league without a rushing touchdown this season. Osweiler thrown way too high, but he's going to get the flag thrown on Vontae Davis to set him up at the 1-yard line on a first and goal intended for Hopkins.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. Foul occurred in the end zone. Ball will be placed at the 1-yard line.
And that's a pass that looked like it couldn't have been caught anyway.
Well, that's the question, but with the way DeAndre Hopkins can jump, you wonder if they factored that in here.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
you can see on the
right
back
there.
of the jersey, yep.
So even though it's uncatchable, they called it. Land comes in as eligible receiver. First down and goal at the 1-yard line.
I would give my offensive line a chance here.
Then we got the fullback cross, leading away from Miller into the end zone. He goes, touchdown Texans. Yards. It started with those 3 runs, all resulting in first downs.
Watch, we're going to see a split here, and the fullback is going to draw the linebacker to him and create the big opportunity, the big hole inside. That was some drive. That was exactly what the Texans have been hoping for a long time.
Miller now with 107 yards tonight. First rushing touchdown of the season for Houston, and Novak for the extra point. Whoa, and he missed it to the right. That's the 5th missed extra point today, including one by Stephen Gostkowski, and you don't hear that very often in New England. So it's a 4-point game, 13-9 with a little more than 7 to go in the third. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Amazon Echo, information, music, news, and more. Just ask. And by Toyota, let's go places. Friday night, that's Stratford beating Memorial High School. Stratford, the alma mater of one Andrew Luck. Dad Oliver played here with the old Houston Oilers. And we're going to high school here in the heart of Texas. Jordan Todman will run the kickback to the 24-yard line. Tick under 7 minutes to play in the third. Luck coming to work again, up by 4. The Texan defense, for the most part, holding up pretty well this season, despite the fact they're minus their number 1 guy. You take a look at the guys who won that Defensive Player of the Year award 3 times. There are only 2 of them. It's a pretty good pair to draw to. Lawrence Taylor and J.J. Watt, who is out for the season, having had 2 back surgeries in the last few months. So our best to J.J. I understand he's Southern California, tuning in tonight, and hopefully a complete return for him.
What a great player.
Next season. From the 24-yard line, Frank Gore picks up a couple of yards. It'll be second down.
Jadeveon Clowney has more tackles for loss than anybody in the National Football League. Already won here tonight. Just watch him rip off the backside of this thing. Make yet another play. Starting to flash some of that AA gap blitz stuff right in here.
And they give it to Gore, and he goes right through that gap up to the 30-yard line. And 3rd and 4 upcoming.
They're going to try and fill all these gaps in here. But it looked like Cushing sort of fell off and then missed the tackle. Had the right scheme. He backed off of it, looped around, and then just missed him.
Turbin comes in to flank Luck on 3rd down, 3rd and 4. Crowd not playing a big part in it. They're totally back into it. Underneath, Turbin, can he get the first? Yes, he can. Slips by the first guy and takes it out to the 42-yard line. First down, got away from Jonathan Joseph. Gain of 12.
Yep, 3rd downs. Star players have to make big plays, and Jonathan Joseph had him. If he makes this tackle, gonna have no problem at all. Of course, Turbin gets paid to make a miss, and he did his job there.
Luck is 14 of 20, 70% for 157 yards. Good protection. Caught Doyle. He breaks a tackle, and Doyle down the sideline for a big gain there. Andre Howell, the safety. He ran away from him, and he turns what would have been about a 6-yard gain into a gain of a lot more than that. 18 yards.
If Andrew Luck, like Jack Doyle coming into this game, you're going to like him even more now. He's made a couple of these kind of big plays. Andre Howell is a very good safety and just bounced off on that one.
4 catches and the only Indy touchdown for Doyle tonight. 4.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Gore again on 1st down, and Gore finds that little crease, takes the ball to the 33-yard line. Gore tonight has carried the ball 13 times, 63 yards, almost 5 yards per tote.
Interesting defense. They're putting Brian Cushing right there and then stacking the other linebacker, Benardrick McKinney, right behind him, and yet they're running right up the gut of that defense.
Running up the gut of the defense here, but to no avail. Gore stopped for a minimal gain, if any. Clowney is there. That defense being called by Romeo Cornell. It's going to set up a 3rd down and long 3.
I tell you, there are some defenses that you say, okay, we're just not going to block that backside defensive end. Clowney catches it. He keeps catching these plays that they're not even trying to block him.
3rd and 3. Clearly already in range for one Adam Vinatieri. Luck has 7 points in mind, though not 3. And now they're going to be out of range. Big sack with a flag. There's Clowney who came in. And you had Merciless and the two big guys. And let's see about the call for Vinovich.
Merciless got him.
Defense number 59.
Killer.
15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So that is Merciless. And instead of a 4th down and way out of field goal range, a first down drive keeps going.
Reaching right over the top. Grabbed that face mask. Turned it. There was no way Luck was getting out of there. Clowney was on one side, Merciless was on the other. They had squeezed them into a box, no way to escape, and just happened to get that hand on the face mask. That's a killer.
Drive keeps on going. Colts now at the 17 in the red zone where they've been so proficient all season. 3 minutes left in the quarter. To the outside, and that's caught. Short gain. Dorsett gets pushed back by Kevin Johnson. An offensive line being coached this year. They made another coaching change, and they got Joe Philbin, who was let go by the Miami Dolphins as the head coach. And he's no stranger to the offensive line. Coached it in college at Iowa. Also at Green Bay, offensive coordinator there that led to the job in Miami. And when he got fired there, on he came to the staff here with Pagano.
Well, he'd be proud of the work out there tonight. I think this has been one of their best efforts.
2nd and 4. And that will be a completion, but Chester Rogers looks like he was stood up just short of the first down. Then linesmen come in, they'll spot it, and it's going to set up a 3rd down and inches, we think. Now we know.
Well, with that missed extra point, now you certainly need to stop. Keep this thing 7 points.
And the measurement is asked for here. It's going to be this one. My friend is going to be 2 feet 3 inches. No, it's less than that. Sorry about that. 11 inches. 3rd down. Can't be right all the time.
With Steve Spurrier. You have to play golf every once in a while with Mr. Al Michaels, too. Everything is a number. Everything comes back to a number. You say a number, a ball player is going to come out.
I'd expect from an old day trader. So here's Cornell calling in that defense here. 3rd down. What do you call here, partner? What do you think?
You know, you hate to run Andrew Luck right up into the middle with Vince Wilfork right in there, but he's a powerful guy if you want it.
And they're going to do it over the right guard. And can he back his way to a first down? Well, he was trying to avoid Wilfork going just off the right guard. And now if you're the Colts, you have the automatic 3, or do you go for it on 4th and inches?
That was really interesting. I don't think Luck wanted any part of Vince Wilfork, so he goes this way to get around that mix right there, but it took so long and may have even surprised his own offensive line.
Yep. The strength of that offensive line is the left side, not the right. Goes over the right side. Can't get the first. They stay on the field, at least for the moment, and they're going to wind up calling a timeout here.
Give a little credit to Bernardrick McKinney, who came in to make that stop.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter, 4-point game. 4th down after the Colts timeout. They keep their offense on the field. They have an automatic 3 with Vinatieri, but they'd like that lead to be more than 7.
Just can't jump off sides here. Look at this shotgun.
Comes up in the gun with Gore. And Luck is going to get whacked and sacked. And they turn it over on downs. Merciless. Who had him sacked before earlier in the drive, but then had the face mask penalty to keep the drive alive. Gives the ball back to the Texans.
Football has changed. Trying to get this thing out here to T.Y. Hilton, but I've got to think somewhere Vince Lombardi is rolling over. Shotgun and 4th and inches. Drop back and throw it and come away with a sack. Merciless working against a tight end, a complete mismatch. Frank Gore. So there's Clowney getting in the throwing lane, and interesting call.
And the Texans coming off their long touchdown drive. Have it from the 13, give the ball to Lamar Miller, already a 100-yard night for him, and a few more close to a first down. However, a flag. Colts are already signaling holding, and Texans are moving back to the end zone, so it's going to be against Houston.
It's just a matter of angles when you're out there at that wide receiver position. We talked about it with the offensive line, but when they start to pull away, there's a tendency to grab.
Holding. Offense number 10. After this is the goal. Repeat first down.
DeAndre Hopkins on the outside. And you'll see, just as this play starts to bounce outside of him, it's when he makes the grab. You never really know where that running back's going to be. Oh, boy. I didn't see a whole lot there. Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
So that makes it first down and 14 from the 9-yard line. A 3-man rush, 8 back, and up at the 20-yard line. The ball is loose. You got Davis coming away with it. Vontae Davis, and what are they going to call as Davis for the moment goes to the end zone?
One official is marking it down as a catch, and the ball is down.
For the moment, it's going to be it's being called an interception, and obviously we'll look at this.
On the field is an interception, and the runner was down by contact.
There you go. Interception and down by contact at the spot. It will take the touchdown away, but it won't take the ball away.
What a play.
Oh, yeah. Davis makes a tremendous play, and there's the contact afterwards. So the play is dead at that point. At the 20-yard line.
Boy, Vontae Davis and DeAndre Hopkins been going at it all night long. But that is some play. Vontae Davis went to his defensive coordinator, Ted Monachino, said, I want him. I want him. Don't put anybody else. Let's not play zone. Put me one-on-one with DeAndre Hopkins. I want the challenge. And that was huge.
With 18 seconds left in the quarter. So the Texans were able to stop him on 4th down, but they give the ball right back after a penalty and a pick. And this is Gore fighting his way to the 14-yard line, and that's going to take us to the final quarter. So we played 3 in Texas with the score Indianapolis 13, Houston 9, and Sunday Night Football back after these messages. Michael's Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, our Sunday night crew here in Houston, NRG Stadium, right next to the old Astrodome.
Well, Pro Football Focus will tell us that the first 6 games between these two, it has been all Vontae Davis. No touchdowns. Hopkins has yet to have a touchdown against the Colts. Vontae Davis, the big reason why. And tonight, absolutely no different. 26 times they've been head-to-head, thrown at 6 times, 1 completion, and that huge interception.
Trying to make it pay off. With 7 points here. It's 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 14. Gore split wide to the left. Luck looks the other way. Now comes back left. He's going to take off with it, and he's going to go all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. Andrew Luck. No luck to the right side. Comes to the left and runs his way in for the TD. set up by Davis's pick.
Max Bulla is going to drop back out of here, and his luck starts to go that way. He goes that way and then just simply cannot catch Luck. It's one of the reasons you pay Andrew Luck the kind of money you pay this guy, because he can do everything. He's a smart guy, obviously can process a lot, make all the big throws, but then this sometimes is the killer when he just pulls it down and takes advantage of your man coverage.
That is the 13th rushing touchdown of his career. It's his first rushing touchdown of the season. Vinatieri to tack on the extra point. And what a turnaround. 7 seconds into the fourth quarter. You had the pick right here. Davis sets him up at the 20. In they go to make it 20-9. The NFL and American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day on October 25th. Find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pick. The band Perry performing tonight here at NRG Stadium. Well, crowd had gotten back into it. Now they're back out of it again, trying to get back into it. 20-9, Indianapolis on top. And we start here with a touchback. So, you know, for a guy like Osweiler, we started to talk about him before. You mentioned that Denver made a late offer, too late. You know, I think about, and I don't want to put him in a category with other flashes in the pan, but I go back to like Rob Johnson, had a tremendous game for Jacksonville, led to a big contract with Buffalo in the late 90s. Matt Flynn had a spectacular game for Green Bay in relief of Aaron Rodgers one day, led to a huge contract in Seattle. Russell Wilson got the job. I don't think that happens with Brock, but I'm just pointing out what happens if you have a good few games and you get that big deal.
Yeah, and you also have a great defense, and you don't have to take over like you do in this situation. Osweiler under 100 yards passing, and he's going to have to be better.
Well, this is the good free agent pickup right there. Miller earning his keep. A flag comes in at the end of the play, which would have been a 10-yard pickup. Already has 113 prior to that run.
Holding. Offense number 12. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's Keith Mumphrey, a guy who's playing tonight probably at wideout. We haven't seen Will Fuller, the #1 draft choice. He was a question mark before the game, dressed but hasn't played.
Yeah, and what Mumphrey as a young player probably doesn't realize is that for all 5 eligible receivers, 1 official is watching him every time. And so they're not going to miss that. You just can't grab and think you're going to get away with it at the point of attack.
First and 15. Miller again, and Miller gets those 15. And maybe one more up to the 36-yard line. So on 20 carries tonight, that's 133 yards for Lamar.
Sometimes these backside linebackers can overrun it and create some opportunities. That was a nice job on the backside there. Looked like Ode Ibushi, who just took the linebacker and waved him right past by, and Miller doing a good job with the patience to come back and see that backside.
TJ Green, clock stop for attention that he needs, and off he comes to the sideline for at least one play.
That TJ Green can fly. Yeah. For a safety, 4.34, was a former wide receiver, good size, 6'3". He played a couple of years at safety, converted wide receiver. He could really be a player.
He played at Clemson. He's their #2 pick in the April draft. Matthias Farley, another rookie from Notre Dame, takes his spot.
Well, Eric Walton's been quiet tonight. He's their leading sacker with 4, and we haven't seen much of him at all.
Yeah, they had only 7 sacks coming into the game. They have 1 tonight. And Osweiler going deep down the right sideline, and that's incomplete. And again, you get that Hopkins-Davis matchup in play there. Second down.
You know, I'm all for trying to get your main guy going, but right now, Vontae Davis is winning the battle. And until you start to hit a few other guys and still you start to make some other plays, the focus is going to stay there. And as we've already pointed out, Vontae Davis is winning, and he's winning big. And not having Will Fuller in the lineup tonight, that second option, who is the other guy that leads all rookies with 327 receiving yards, he's missed.
Well, they flanked Miller out and brought him in, flagged down after a gain of about 5. Bill Vinovich ready to make the call. Indianapolis is certain this one's against the Texans.
Well, Dwayne Brown wrapped his arm around the back of the head of the guy who was blocking. Let's see if somebody talks him out of it.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Nope, nobody talked him out of it.
No.
Go to Michelle.
You guys have been talking about the Davis-Hopkins matchup. Vontae Davis told me the DeAndre he's facing tonight, far from the young Hopkins that they shut down in previous games. Davis said Hopkins is one of the top receivers in the league with the body control to make tough catches. And Davis said, I have to compete for 60 minutes and contest every throw that comes his way. I have the utmost respect for him.
Thank you, Michelle. And there they are. Davis, the brother of Vernon Davis, now with the Redskins, formerly with the 49ers, and that's Alfred Blue, taken down at the line of scrimmage by Walden. 3rd down.
Well, here it is. This has really been the ball game on the offensive side for the Houston Texans. Can they get DeAndre Hopkins free? And we haven't seen those jump balls. Hopkins is just so good when on those contested catches down the field. But Vontae Davis, he's strong, he's physical, he's taking the football away. He's winning the game right now for the Colts.
Got him in a trade in 2012. Now to the outside. Dorwitz making the grab, but short of the first down. It was 3rd and 21. Crowd didn't like the 2nd down call. Don't like the 3rd down call. 4th down now, and the punting group comes in again.
Yeah, I don't think that was a play. Osweiler just saw the Colts weren't settled on the defensive side. Nobody was covering C.J. Fedorowicz, and so he threw it to him.
Got 13, but they needed 21. Chester Rogers is back to receive this kick from the foot of Shane Leckler, the 5th punt of the night. Good kick, fielded at the 10. And Rogers runs into traffic, including his own man, after a run back of about 5 yards. It's Pagano saying, way to go, Vontae. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. By Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row. By Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports. And by DirecTV, call yourself a sports fan, got to get DirecTV. Well, the Super Bowl in 112 days. Early February, right here. It'll be the 3rd time the Super Bowl's been played in the city. 2nd time here. You go all the way back. You saw that shot with Don Shula leading the Dolphins out of the tunnel at Rice Stadium. That's where they played Super Bowl 8 many moons ago. From the 16. Luck fires over the middle, and you got action, but incomplete. Dorsett covered by Kevin Johnson. Some contact, no flag. 2nd down.
Just 1 sack so far, 4 hits, couple of knockdowns, but that was my big question coming in. We talked about it in the opening on camera. Could they keep these pass rushers off of them? 20 sacks coming in, led the National Football League, and so far, Cogan's bunch been doing a nice job.
You get sacked 20 times in 5 games. You're on a pace to get sacked 64 times in a season. Here's Gore having a real nice night. Out to the 24 goes the 33-year-old, and that's 77 yards on 16, make it 78 yards now. 16 carries for Frank.
I tell you, they're doing a good job in there. The young guys, Denzel Good and Joe Haig, in this combination block, and then sealing off inside here. That's young football players getting it done the right way and giving their back Frank Gore an opportunity now. 3rd and short.
.11 and a half to go from the 24. Give it to him again and picks up the first down up to the 30-yard line. Clowney makes the tackle, and they can take a little bit more time off the clock.
Well, I really like the work of Jack Mewhort over here in some of these run plays. Just his ability to athletically get in front of people. They are so good on that left side. Costanzo and Mewhort find a way to work together, and just it was fun talking to Costanzo, wasn't it? Though
sure
he said his hair started turning gray, and he said, well, before it turns completely gray, I'm just going to let it grow out. And he let it grow out, and he said, I kind of like it. I'm going to go the full Rob Ryan look now.
Play action. And that pass is caught along the sideline, and staying in bounds is Swope. And he makes his first catch of the night, a big one, taking it all the way to the 35 on a 35-yard catch and run.
Well, Andrew Luck now, not only is he making the throws on time, but now you're starting to see those secondary plays where he's getting out and breaking down the defense. We saw the run for the touchdown. Mewhort there, probably no question a hold against Clowney on that one as he grabbed the back of that helmet there. But so far, Andrew Luck, one big mistake on the interception, but in complete control as he has been before against the Texans.
Swope, first catch of the season for Eric. Now Gore through the middle to the 31-yard line, and quickly we go to Michelle.
Oh, Al, Frank Gore told me his mindset has always been, I want to be different. I want to be that guy. And so moving up the career rushing chart and being mentioned with the best running backs in the league, he said, it's a great feeling, but now my goal is to get into the tournament and go for the trophy. He believes that's why he was brought here, Al.
Well, he, of course, had so many great years, Michelle, as we know, at San Francisco. And then he decided to move on in the Bay Area. There he is. Last week, he went past Jim Brown. Of course, the seasons are much longer than when the great Jim Brown played. Now you got Gore again, and he takes it to the 21. And, Chris, you were talking about the fact that it's been a long time since they had a 100-yard rusher, but right now Mr. Gore has 98 on 19 carries, and he needs a little break here as he signals to the sideline.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure Chuck Pagano is going to take him out. It's just impressive. A guy that has been playing the game for this long can keep that physical pace going. He's a guy that just wants the contact. He wants to be in these end of game, let me run out the clock kind of situations. Been doing a great job for a long time. A lot of heart.
Turbin comes in to give Frank a breather. And Turbin will get tripped up, but stays on his feet. He's able to pick up a couple of yards. It'll be second down, and the clock keeps on ticking. It's 8.5 to go in the fourth.
You know, this was a Colts team that was sort of written off in some ways after the way they started this year, and a lot of pressure on Pagano, a lot of pressure on Ryan Grigson. What are they doing? But I think as you look at them tonight, with the size and the youth they have on that right side, Denzel Goods had a good game. Joe Haig's had a good game. Ryan Kelly's had a good game against a really solid defensive front. That bodes well.
Second and 9 from the 20. Feed Turbin again. Tell me a team that hasn't been written off.
No.
It's a week-to-week thing here. It's the overreaction to everything. You know, they'll be writing off Green Bay tomorrow.
Oh, no question. What's wrong with the offense? We'll get a relax out of Aaron Rodgers. But, you know, it's a tough league. It's tough to get one win. Chuck Pagano, you know, they're 1-3, and he told his team, so what, now what? That's his big phrase. So what, now what? There's nothing we can do about 1-3. Now what are we going to do?
When I say they'll be writing it off, it's not a collective, but, you know, there are always people who are going to write off the Patriots that get written off from time to time.
Yeah.
And have been. 3rd and 7. Luck throws, and errantly to Swope, who had that big 35-yard reception. So it's 4th down, and Adam Vinatieri will try to make it 41 and close to within 1 of the record held by the former Colt Mike Vanderjagt.
I'm going to guess that Peyton Manning is cheering for Adam Vinatieri to break that record.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You remember that?
It's a wild guess. It's just a wild.
That whole deal. 36-yard attempt. McAfee to hold it. Adam Vinatieri, that one is right down the middle once again, but there's a flag down. That was a 4th and 7. Like Kevin Johnson is going to be the guy who gets flagged.
Running into the kicker. Penalties decline. Field goal's good.
Right, that's the minor infraction. Wouldn't have resulted in the first down. 41 straight for AV, and 23-9 is the score in Houston. Next week to the Arizona desert we go. It's the Seattle Seahawks against the Arizona Cardinals. Football night gets us started 7 Eastern time. Seahawks in a wild one beat Atlanta today. Cardinals beat the Jets tomorrow on Monday Night Football. So the Colts are on top 23-9. And the kickoff fielded, well, not even fielded in the end zone. They'll start from the 25-yard line. 7:04 left in regulation. Already heading into week 7 of the NFL season. Thursday night, you got the Bears against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Thursday Night Football. CBS, NFL Network, Twitter at about 8:30. Well, Vince Wilfork, 14 years in the NFL.
Still playing well.
Yep. His club, though, down by a pair of scores. And Osweiler swings it to the outside. Winds up hitting Griffin. Using the concussion protocol this week, but was cleared. That's enough for a first down.
Well, I got to tell you, if you'd have told me Lamar Miller is going to have 133 yards rushing in this building, I would have been hard pressed to say that Houston wasn't going to be winning.
Next week, an interesting trip coming up for these Texans as Osweiler throws, and that's about an 8-yard gain. They go to Denver. That's the Monday night game next week, and of course that means Osweiler goes back to the place that he left, where everybody thought he was the quarterback of the future, and goes against Trevor Siemian, who makes about I don't know, to the math off the top of my head, but a small fraction of what Osweiler makes, at least for the moment.
It's going to be an ugly story unless this thing starts turning around.
2nd and 2, and Miller takes the ball to the 50-yard line, so they keep the chains moving as we tick down under 6 minutes to play in the 4th.
Yeah, you got to think it's probably 4-down territory here, down 2 touchdowns, and we're going to have to pick up the pace here now.
From midfield, and it's dropped. Ryan Griffin started to look downfield before he looked the ball into his hands. 2nd down. So there it is, Brock. This year the salary cap charge is $12 million, and Siemian is a measly $544,000. Of course, that's not measly to most people in the country, but in the NFL, you know what we're talking about. The average salary cap charge of a quarterback is a little under 11. The overall cap is about $155 million this season. Miller goes to the outside. Of course, when you pay a quarterback a ton of money, it sort of gives the front office a little bit of, not that they want to use it, but they sort of put it out there, hey, you know, we can't build other parts of our team. And that's sort of been the case in Indy as you look at Bob McNair and Rick Smith, the GM and the owner of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, if you have a good quarterback, nobody cares how much you pay him.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's complaining about what Andrew Luck got paid tonight.
Or Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, certainly.
Sure.
3rd down and 9. And those teams have sort of figured out a way to pay the big bucks and still stay as a playoff and Super Bowl contender every year. And timeout is called here by Houston, and the crowd hates that. Timeout. Season is on. Rivalry night is Wednesday night. NBCSN, 2 of the original 6. The Detroit Red Wings go into the Garden in New York to take on the New York Rangers on NBCSN. NHL Wednesday night rivalry. There's Jim Irsay longtime owner of the Indianapolis Colts, who really shocked everybody right after last season ended with the retention of head coach and GM. Right now on the verge of going to 3-3, but Houston has other ideas as Hopkins makes the catch to the 40-yard line, but the clock keeps on rolling down. 6 grabs now for Hopkins, but the longest is that one right there, 10 yards.
Yeah, but at least during this drive, they've hit some other receivers. They haven't just been going to DeAndre Hopkins, and then that opened up Hopkins.
Trying to hurry here. And Osweiler throws, and that's caught, and a flag comes in at the end of the play as DeAndre Hopkins turned it to the outside on Vontae Davis. So that was good for 9 yards.
I think it's going to be on the defense, and you want 2nd and 1.
Or 1st and 5.
First,
yeah.
And probably an automatic first down, right?
Well,
illegal use of hands.
No.
Hands in the face. Defense number 21. Penalties declined. Result of the play, 2nd down.
All right, not on that foul. So it is 2nd down. They'll take 2nd and 1 instead of 1st and 5.
Yeah, 2nd and 1 is that free play we were talking about before. Now you do whatever you want here.
What's up?
Low pass a little high, but Hopkins goes up in the air to grab it to the 26-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down. That's 8 catches for him, but he's averaging only about 7.5 yards per reception.
But there's so much pressure on Osweiler to get him the ball. You wonder what it does to the grand scheme of this offense.
Under 4 minutes to play now. Osweiler avoids the sack, chase from behind, throws, caught, 14-yard line. Davis throws his hands up in exasperation, saying that should have been an offensive foul. It wasn't. Hopkins takes the ball for a 1st down.
Yeah, it gets outside the pocket, but really a great job by Hopkins on that one. Saw his quarterback scrambling, made a great move to get away from Vontae Davis that time.
Alfred Blue now in the game in the backfield, offset on 1st down. 3:20 to go. Pressure on, they go to the outside, and nothing doing there except Braxton Miller making a catch and being hit immediately by Darius Butler. Gain of only 3, 2nd down and 7.
With only 2 timeouts, you need to make this score happen as quickly as possible. I'd love to have a chance to kick it off and have the 2-minute warning in your 2 timeouts.
Right. 2nd down and 7. Osweiler throwing, not even close. Way overthrown. Braxton Miller covered there by Butler. So 3rd down now and 7.
So many things when you talk to Brock Osweiler, he tells you that it's not the playbook, it's not understanding the offense, it's not knowing what the defense is doing, it's just the timing with all these receivers that I haven't worked with much. And it showed there.
So time here because of Butler. Butler needs the attention. So this is not a charged timeout. Got that hand all wrapped up in a club.
I'll tell you, a gutsy performance. And there's so many guys in the NFL that does this. You know, they get out and they have surgery on their hand and put it in a club, and you know every time anybody touches it, it just absolutely kills you.
Yeah.
But you have to play. It's the nature of this game, you know, that they put all the training and all the work into you, and unless you just can't walk, generally you're out there giving it a shot. And kind of feel sorry for J.J. Watt. I think he did that with his back surgery. And I'll tell you, J.J. Watt, at Pro Football Focus, we had all this different stuff working there, and there you see him sort of whack his knee on top of the helmet of Braxton Miller. But J.J. Watt was so good in his day, he broke the scale. We didn't know what to do. How do you grade this guy that's so far above all his peers at his positions?
Lawrence Taylor in his heyday. Darrell Morris comes in the secondary. Lamar Miller is in the backfield flanking Osweiler. Send him out into the pattern. Osweiler throws it to him. And Miller gets corralled but stays on his feet. And it's Miller. Touchdown. What a play by Lamar Miller.
That's just a wow. That was awesome.
That was 3rd and 7. He would have been stopped well short of the first down. Instead, 10 yards and a score.
There were 7 guys between him and the goal line. I don't know how he did this. By the time he circles back, there are about 7 guys standing there, and he just beat them all. His offensive line hustled down there. What a night for Miller.
Meanwhile, that's Green, T.J. Green, who was down and needed attention before, who is down here at the 2-yard line. So for Miller tonight, 139 yards rushing and add several more and a touchdown receiving. Injury timeout here for Green. Big night for Lamar Miller. 4 years in Miami with the Dolphins. Comes over here and really gets untracked tonight. 139 rushing yards, 13 receiving yards. He scored on the ground and through the air. And right now the extra point, which Novak missed before, and that could be very significant as we go down the stretch, trying to make it a 7-point game. This one is good. So it's 23-16. Now you go 2 ways here. You got 2:37 to play. If you're the Texans, you kick it deep and try to have your defense hold them, use your timeouts. Defense, you have 2 of them, plus the 2-minute warning, or try for an onside kick. Which way do you go?
I would kick it deep because I think it puts great pressure on the offense. Basically, you know you're not going to try to keep away from a turnover and all that. So I think I kick it deep, try and kick it, let it bounce around. They have to come up and play for the onside kick, which means that there's going to be a lot of holes back there. Kick it down there, let it bounce around, and then your defense just has to make a play.
I'm agreeing with you.
How about that?
There you go.
There you go.
Houston coming in 3-2, so they would go to 3-3 if they can't come from behind. Tennessee won today, and Tennessee will meet Indianapolis next week in Nashville. And the Jaguars, who went over to London and knocked off the Colts, went into Chicago today and beat the Bears. So they are 2-3 in the ever-tight AFC South. The division won by the Texans last year, and they had a home game in the wild card game, and they got blown out, killed by Kansas City 30-0, and that led to the whole thing about we got to get a quarterback because it was Brian Hoyer last year, and there you got the man going, the only man back deep at the 20-yard line.
But look at all this space out here. And when that ball's bouncing around down there, you obviously have a chance to go get it as well. And even if you don't get it down there, they're backed up. So there's plenty of options here that you can do.
So you got 10 guys up between the 48-yard line.
I don't know if I would have done that.
And around the middle to T.Y. Hilton, so he has a chance to run it back. And the coverage is very good, and that will put them at the 21-yard line to begin this drive, which obviously will be a drive in which Andrew Luck will try to take as much time off that clock as he can.
I don't really understand that kick. I'm all for taking that one and angling it or bouncing it or whatever, but that put no pressure on him.
So Cornell's defense, can they get the ball back?
You have to anticipate run. Obviously, you don't want to throw it unless you have to here. Frank Gore's been sensational, as has been this offensive line. They have one more in them.
2 yards for Gore gives him 100 for the gain. And Frank will, I think, will wait for the scorer to make his call here, but that should be a 2-yard gain. And if it is, Indianapolis will have its first as Houston takes a timeout. That is the first 100-yard rusher for the Colts in 3.5 years. 2012 was Vic Ballard who ran for triple figures in 2012 against these Texans. So 3.5 years, and Frank Gore, unless he carries and loses a yard, to go back to 99.
It's happened before.
That's 100, yep.
Boy, I tell you, this is an interesting time. If you want to throw the ball, The guy that has killed so many teams in the past, T.Y. Hilton, is basically going to get man coverage on the outside. Here he is down at the bottom of the screen. Well, now they are playing a little bit of safety back, so he took the chance on first down, but not on second.
And you got a false start here. It's going to make it 2nd and 13. That's Eric Swope, the tight end who jumped.
False start. Offense number 86. Right run penalty. Still 2nd down.
And Swope's probably not in the game unless Dwayne Allen got hurt, which is exactly what happened. They tried to line up with an unbalanced line that time, and now you have real pressure.
Second down, 13, 2:28. Texans with a timeout and the 2-minute warning.
Your pass rushers, if they throw it, have to go to work. Merciless has to get there. Clowney has to get there.
Luck off play action. Looking deep. Gets sacked at the 11-yard line. That's Andre Al. Put the pressure on. Safety comes in. He knocks him down. They're going to stop the clock here with their final timeout, and it's going to be 3rd down and 20.
Going to try and run bootleg across the field. Bring him out here in some open space, and Hal just fires up. And T.Y. Hilton, who was trying to get out in the flat on that side, got tripped up and couldn't make his way through the traffic.
And holding his leg on top of it. Timeout for the Texans. 3rd and 20. They're out of timeouts. Clock will stop at the 2-minute warning. That's Andre Hal's first career sack in his 3rd year.
Sure don't want to do anything too crazy here. Got a great punter. Give him a chance to get you out of this hole.
And this is Gore. And sure enough, exactly what we mentioned just happened. Merciless makes the tackle, so their first 100-yard rusher in 3.5 years turns out to be a guy who now has 99.
The curse lives.
Oh, man. 4th down, 2-minute warning, and in comes the punting unit. So the game still alive for the Houston Texans. Big defensive series. Tonight, Seahawks Cardinals from the desert. Volkswagen post-game report coming up at the end of this one. Michelle, of course, on the field with the stars of the game. Mike Tony and Mike Florio will break it down, and we will look ahead to next Sunday's matchup in Glendale, AZ.
There we go. Jadeveon Clowney, he's in on the punt rush. Whitney Merciless, he's in on the punt rush.
So McAfee averaging almost 52 yards per kick. See if he can boom one here. And he sends it to the 41-yard line. Irvin escapes for the moment. And he gets tackled at the 47-yard line. So 150 now. It's a 49-yard kick and a 6-yard run back. So no timeouts. And they have the ball at their own 47-yard line.
And here it is. This is a chance to quiet all the noise. This is your opportunity, if you're Brock Osweiler, to become the quarterback of the Houston Texans. You need moments like this. He got 1 touchdown. He needs another.
Meanwhile, Butler's still out. Darryl Morris is in the Indy secondary. And they set up a screen. And this huge night for Lamar Miller keeps on ticking as he gets to the 37-yard line. Gain of 15.
Screen passes have been a disaster for the Texans this year. In a big moment, they hit a big one.
Minute and a half remaining from the 37-yard line. Osweiler to the 32. Catch made, tight end Fedorowicz, and he takes the ball to the 26-yard line, and that's an 11-yard gain and a first down. A minute now remaining.
Come on.
Osweiler hangs in the pocket, fires, caught, touchdown! C.J. Fedorowicz. Well, that didn't take long. Three plays, 52 yards, just like that. 56 seconds. 49 seconds left for Andrew Luck, who'll get the ball back. And how big did that extra point, how big does it loom right now when Novak missed earlier? Otherwise, they're going for a potential win. Now they're going for a potential tie and maybe overtime. So Novak now for the extra point. Meanwhile, you got Adams, who's now down on a knee, so he needs a moment. And back we go to Fedorowicz, who caught one on the outside, then runs right through the middle for the score.
It's going to go right around the coverage inside, help over the top deep, and Osweiler threw a bullet. That was the best throw he's made tonight, maybe this year. Under pressure, in between those two cover guys, and for Novak, this is going to be a long time to think about a huge pressure kick.
Beat Gethers on the route. Adams missed the tackle. Osweiler is now thrown for 223 yards tonight.
Give him credit. That was a great drive. He looked completely calm, completely under control, knew the offense. The Colts were trying to catch up to him. It was tremendous. If they go on to win this game, this one will be in his memory bank forever.
All he wants now is a chance to get it in the fifth quarter. There goes Adams limping off, as if the Colts don't have enough problems in the secondary already, minus Patrick Robinson. He would have been a starter tonight.
Would you even consider going for two? Seeing Mike Adams, the quarterback of that defense, limp off like that, seeing who they have left out there, would you even think about it here?
Well, every coach is thinking about it right now. The problem is it would be so deflating to miss the two-point conversion.
This is no layup either.
No, these days, if Gostowski can miss one, anybody can. This is to tie the game. Which he does. So Andrew Luck has 49 seconds, 2 timeouts, and maybe the greatest place kicker ever, with a chance maybe to win the game in regulation.
This was the kind of coverage that gave them fits a week ago. The man under, zone deep, going to go under that guy, and then over the top and just split those two guys. It was, if you're at all hesitant on that throw, you never get that in there. There is about a quarter-second window where that throw could have been made, and Osweiler, that was great. Honestly, that was great. That drive was great.
And Fedorowicz channels Gronkowski on the spike. And it's 23 up. Vinatieri keeping that leg loose. And we go to Michelle.
Well, Adam Vinatieri felt good, 58 to 60 yards, and he said, you know, I'm just happy my old butt can still play. I don't take any kick for granted. He did say if we have to go further, we'll go further, but he felt like it was going to be a good night here tonight because they're inside and the air in here is a little bit warm, Al.
And Michelle's hit 5 already this season from 50 plus. Already matching the most he's ever had in an entire year. He's made his last 9 50 plus. So they'd like to get the ball to about the 38-yard line or so of Indianapolis. It's a bouncing kickoff, juggled, fielded at the 24, and run back to the 32 by Austin Blythe, a rookie out of Iowa, who had no idea what was coming his way at that point. He's a lineman. What is this?
Oh boy.
That could have been a disaster.
You know, and for Chuck Pagano, what's his favorite phrase? So what? Now what? Now it flips over. All right, Andrew Luck. They got it done on their side. So what? Now what?
Ball at the 32. Luck flanked by the rookie Josh Ferguson in the backfield. A lot of the crowd is left, but they're still making a ton of noise. And the pass is caught at midfield by Chester Rogers, the rookie free agent from Grambling. And he's had himself a nice evening. 4 catches, 63 yards. And again, the Colts go to a fourth quarter. It's been crazy. Matt Prater, game-winning field goal on opening day for Detroit. Allowed 18 points at the Broncos and lost by 14 there. Hilton from Luck against the Chargers. That ended a big comeback. Went to London. Jaguars 41 points. Lost the game in the fourth quarter. And then Hilton last week against Chicago. Game-winning. It's every game high scoring for Indianapolis and dramatic.
Keep your eye on Josh Ferguson in the backfield. He has been their receiver coming out. 19 catches, the most for any rookie.
Second most on the team, and Luck is going to escape, but only for a 2-yard gain. Taken down by McKinney, and now they stop the clock again with 31 seconds. So this is the final timeout for the Colts.
Jadeveon Clowney, watch this bull rush. This is the definition of a bull rush. Helmet right underneath the chin and blew him right back into Luck. Had no choice but to scramble out. Merciless as he's done a few times, had to hustle back to try and make that play. Still time, Al, to throw the ball in the middle of the field and go up and stop the clock.
Definitely.
Sacks here are killers, though.
They need about 10 more yards to give Vinatieri a really decent chance to make a field goal. We're giving him, you know, the 52, 53-yarder. Luck to the sideline, a little low. Hilton, does he make the catch off the ground? He does. Wow. T.Y. Hilton just before the ball touches the ground, or did it? Let's take a look. Of course, no challenges needed here. Everything gets reviewed. Crowd looks at it. They see the ball on the ground. Of course, that's the reason you hear the noise from the crowd. And obviously, Vinovich will be taking a look at this.
Yeah, I don't think that's a catch.
The previous play is under review.
Now, if you have control, the ball can hit the ground, but it looked to me like the ground definitely aided in this catch.
Yep, I think they'll overturn this.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have the ball hit the ground and be a completed pass, but not right there. Nope.
Yeah, and so many times this year we have seen them staying with the call on the field. But I think that one's pretty clear.
Well, this makes for a very interesting situation here. Assuming it's incomplete, it's going to make it 3rd down and 8. If you're going to get you need a first down. You can't get like a 7-yard gain in the middle of the field, but you can't spike it. But you still might have time to get that field goal unit out. Not as much time as you would like. But if you work the middle now, you really have to be careful.
Yeah, if you go up, and I think you have to make that decision in advance now, assuming it's going to be 3rd and 8, because then if you complete one short of the line, do you want to run out there and try whatever would be a 58-9-yard field goal,
right,
or would you
yards.
want to leave the offense out there on 4th down and maybe have a 5-yard pass, try and get out of bounds, and then set up the next one? So all of that has to come into this decision of this play call and what you're communicating in that huddle right
After
now.
reviewing the play, ruling on the field is reversed. It's an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground.
Right now, if you don't...
From the 48-yard line, please reset the game clock to 27 seconds.
So the reset, they'll put 2 more seconds on it. If you don't gain a yard here, you're looking at a 67-yard field goal.
I'm saying, no, what happens if you throw one down to like the 41 or 2? Now you got to decide, am I going for it or kicking a 60-yarder at that point? And because you don't have the timeout, if you want to kick it, you'd have to run your field goal team out right now.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Gore, who at one point had 100-yard 90s back on the sideline. They don't need him here. 3rd down and 8. Luck stepping up, fires. That's incomplete. Now what do you want to do? You got Clowney coming in. There he is. He needs some assistance in getting up. You got 4th down and 8.
Yeah, now you're probably going to have to punt this ball away. You're not going to leave it there at midfield.
And they bring McAfee into the game. McAfee is such a phenomenal athlete. They've got trick plays. Would you dare? Would you dare?
He can throw the football, trust me. I have seen this act before.
This is not an automatic punt. Now it is. And a fair catch to score for at the 16, Tyler Irving. So the next bit of drama will be a coin flip.
Jadeveon Clowney, give him credit. I know he's hurting out there, but he has been hustling his way to Andrew Luck on almost every snap. Boy, this turned into some game.
Yeah. Big comeback, down by 14 were the Texans here in the 4th quarter.
Think there's anybody driving home and listening to the game on the car?
There are
car
looking
radio
around here
right
about half the crowd.
I would say about half.
180!
So they will take a knee, and Bill Vinovich will flip the coin, and we will see who will get the ball on the first possession of OT.
Boy, that Colts defense had played so well all night, and then all they had to do was make one stop in those last 2 drives and couldn't get it done.
And that missed extra point by Novak after the first touchdown has loomed very large. 23 all as the offensive group gets together on the sideline along with the line coach Joe Philbin. Captains come out to midfield again. Here's Vinovich.
Good evening, gentlemen. Great job so far. We're now in overtime. We have a modified sudden death. Both teams will have an opportunity to possess the ball unless the first team scores a touchdown. We'll play a maximum 1 quarter. 4th quarter timing rules are in effect. All replays are upstairs. Each team has 2 timeouts. Any questions? You're still the visitors? What is your call?
Tails.
It's called tails this time. It is tails. You want the ball. Which way you want to kick? You got it. Indianapolis will receive first in overtime. Good luck.
Indy gets the ball. A touchdown wins the game. Anything less, and the Texans will have an opportunity. To overtime we go in Houston, Texas. For the 2 quarterbacks, the man on the left is the man who's going to get the ball first. They get into the end zone, they win the game, a field goal or less, and the Houston Texans will get the ball at least once. So you've got Josh Ferguson and Jordan Todman back. Quan Bray is on the sideline. He had his shoe off, so he's out of the game. The attrition continues. And the run back from the 4 from the rookie Josh Ferguson. He takes the ball out to the 26-yard line. Those of you joining us late, Lamar Miller, huge night, 139 yards on the ground. 1 rushing TD, 1 receiving TD. You had Vontae Davis with a tremendous interception to set up an Andrew Luck touchdown. It looked like Indianapolis was ready to salt the game away, but Osweiler, who was cold for most of the night, 2 hot drives at the end, resulting in a couple of touchdowns that erased a 14-point deficit.
And no Jadeveon Clowney in the game right now.
Now Frank Gore, who had a 100-yard night and then lost a yard to go to 99, will have 1 more opportunity. He's in the game. He flares out on the reception, and the pass goes for a gain of 7 to Swope, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Al, you mentioned it. Quan Bray sitting there on the bench. He is out with that ankle injury, as is Philip Dorsett with a hamstring injury. So the Colts are really shorthanded at wide receiver for the end of this game.
Absolutely, and of course that doesn't even include Dante Moncrief, who would be their number 2 receiver. He's missing his 5th game in a row. There's Clowney back in. On 2nd down and 3.
Both their best pass rushers on the same side. Look for a little stunt loop, something coming here.
To Gore. Now he's back over 100 again to the 40-yard line. He joined us late. I mentioned the Colts have gone 3.5 seasons without a 100-yard rusher. Frank had 100, lost a yard, went to 99, and now he's at $1.06.
Colts come out here and win this game. Denzel Good, Joe Haig have done a nice job all night long on that right side with the run blocking. I think they may have finally found a little something. Pass blockers on the left, little run blocking on the right.
First down at the 40-yard line. Come up with 2 tight ends here. Fake to Gore. Luck stepping up, stepping away. Throws to the sideline and no good. Hilton on the chalk, official right there to tell him no sir. Boyer covering on the play. 2nd down and 10. They've done some job tonight on TY. 2 catches, 42 yards, 1 for 31 yards, and the other for 11.
Well, we talked about it in the beginning. Romeo Crennel, they always want to take away the number 1 option all the way back to his days with New England. And T.Y. Hilton, the obvious number 1 option, and they've accomplished that at least to this point. It is a long way to the end of this game, though. Or with T.Y. Hilton, maybe a short time to the end of the game.
Second and 10. Put some pressure on. Pass caught. 47-yard line. That's Hilton setting up a key 3rd down. Of course, in overtime, every 3rd down is key. 3rd and 3.
And T.Y. Hilton is either shot or was setting up something, because he basically jogged off the line that time for that hook route. But really no choice. Kevin Johnson, with his speed, you've got to back off and give him that.
Gore out, Turbin in on 3rd down and 3. Crowd in full throat. Play clock at 1. And did they call the timeout? They did.
First charge timeout.
They got the timeout just before they would have gotten a delay of game. You get 2 timeouts in overtime, so they have 1 remaining.
Did Pagano call that one?
I think he did. I didn't see Luck called it. I'm going to assume it was called from the sideline. We think it's him. Yep.
Sometimes it's nice to have a coach, isn't it?
Well, it's good. Yeah, he's looking at the play clock, and Luck isn't. Luck was looking at the defense. It saves him 5 yards, which is pretty key here on a 3rd and 3.
So many times with the mobility of Andrew Luck, there are options that come with bootlegs, that come with dropbacks, that come with quarterback draws. His running skills can be such a factor in these key moments.
Luck, pressured, sacked. McKinney came firing in through the middle and just buried him.
When the back blocks, that's going to free McKinney to come on the blitz. That was well read. That's a big part of this defense. You see your guy block. You're no longer in man coverage. Go get the quarterback. Beautifully done by Benardrick McKinney.
9-yard sack, 3 sacks tonight for the Texans. And McAfee to punt for the 5th time in the game. Oh, and you've got a whistle before the play. Did the Texans have an extra man on the field? Even if they did, it makes it 4th and 7.
12 men in formation. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Yeah, that's one of those defensive fouls that don't result in a first down. So just 5 more yards here for McAfee.
And then 1 deep. Yeah, and that time Whitney Merciless, if he wanted to lay out and take the chance, had the opportunity to block that kick. Coming off of the Colts' left side.
Man, you're living right on the edge, though. You try to block a kick in this situation.
Yeah.
You risk running into the kicker, roughing the kicker. That would be a disaster. And here's McAfee again, averaging 52 yards per boot this season. That's a line drive. 16-yard line. Tyler Irvin brings it out to the 33-yard line. So not one of McAfee's better kicks. 41 yards and a 17-yard run back for a 24 net. And you got an injured Texan right there. That's K.J. Dillon on the turf. Osweiler, 2 TDs, 1 pick. Bad first half. He had 64 yards. He was 7 of 17. We saw him win that overtime game. Chris talked about it at the top of the show against the Patriots in the snow in Denver. And he beat the Bengals in overtime as well.
You know who's probably the most nervous of all right now is his wife, Erin.
Sure.
You know, Erin was the one that gave the final okay to come to Houston. Said, what an opportunity it is. Take it.
Injury timeout. Back after this. So K.J. Dillon is back on the bench, getting worked on, and you got Osweiler just awaiting the signal that Vinovich will give him in a second that we are ready for action. Any score wins the game here. So Luck had it in hand.
We are now in actual sudden death. The next score wins.
All right, as we know. So plenty of drama here, and plenty of drama in a few living rooms as well. If you know what I mean, and I know you do. So here we go. At the 33-yard line. Off the play fake. Osweiler has time and then completes it over the middle to the 41-yard line. That's Fedorowicz, who scored the game-tying touchdown. Geathers makes the stop, gain of 9, 2nd down and 1.
If I could give Osweiler any advice, it would be work the other guys. They're more open. That time he sat and just stared at DeAndre Hopkins for about the first 3 seconds and then came off. The other guys jump-started that first drive. Let him do it again. Then come back to him.
So Mike Adams, who had to go out earlier, he's back in. Fedorowicz moving around. The toss goes to Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller takes the ball into Indy territory to the 49-yard line. Tackled by McNary. And Lamar Miller, 23 carries tonight, 149 yards, 1 rushing TD, 1 receiving TD.
Well, they get the big guy, Chris Clark, getting out in front of this thing. And you have to remember that fatigue becomes a real factor here. When these guys have to run sideline to sideline as they did there, it takes a lot out of that pass rush.
This time he is stopped at the line of scrimmage is the former Dolphin. Morris makes the stop. Here's Michelle.
Well, Nick Novak and I spoke before the game. He said anything inside 58 he felt pretty good about, but let's remember, he missed wide to the right 5 times in the pregame, as well as missing that extra point in the first half, Al. So a little shaky tonight for Novak.
Oh, yeah, it would have made it 13-10. Instead, it was 13-9, and of course, that turned out to be very big at the end of regulation. Second down and 10 from the 48-yard line. Osweiler deep down the left sideline and making the catch is Strong, Jalen Strong, who's had some huge games against Indianapolis, and he does it again. He's been silent tonight. He beats Rashawn Melvin, stays in bounds, 36 yards.
And for Brock Osweiler, he's finally done it. He finally broke away from having to totally rely in these moments on DeAndre Hopkins, comes back the other way, and Jalen Strong delivers. That is a fantastic catch.
Strong had 3 TDs as a rookie last year, all of them against Indianapolis. So now clearly in field goal range, and Osweiler will take a timeout here. Just calm it down.
Yeah.
Don't do anything silly.
Before you go into shotgun and make another throw, let's
right.
We've got our shot right here. Nothing wrong with the coverage by Melvin right there. It hasn't pinned into the boundaries. Just at the point of attack, it was Jalen Strong going up and making that play. A guy that's had to play in the slot 81% of the time this season because of injuries in there. His real role is outside, and he just showed you why. What a play.
The Colt killer.
Boy, I tell you, Brock Osweiler, you have to give him credit. This was every time he's had a chance. He was down to his last chance once, twice during regulation, and now gets it back and does it again.
Well, the crowd did a good part of this game booing him and the offense, and now all of a sudden on the cusp of erasing a 14-point deficit and winning the game in overtime. 12. Keep it, and he wants to move it to the hash mark that's most beneficial for his kicker. Novak wanted it on the right hash. She puts it there for him, and now here comes Novak for what will be about a 34-yard field goal attempt. Make it 33.
Which is the extra point, right?
That is the extra point that was missed. 3 overtime field goals in his 8+ seasons in the NFL.
It's just so dangerous to leave an NFL game early.
I'm sure they're enjoying it on the radio. 33-yarder to win the game, which he does. What a comeback. And what a dispiriting loss for the Colts. Ready to move into a tie for first in the division. Instead, Houston goes to 4-2. They're 4-0 at home. Mr. Osweiler pays his first big dividend on that $72 million deal. Andrew Luck had none at all at the end. Luck, that is, and the Indianapolis Colts will limp home with a mark of 2-4, 2 games behind their top rival. So Novak missed a 33-yarder and then made the big 33-yarder to put this game in the over territory on both levels and push them to a record of 4-2. Lamar Miller, what a night for him. Frank Gore, well, he had that 100-yard night, but loses the game. 26-23 Texans in overtime. Volkswagen post-game report coming your way next.